Um, so starting again. So last session, you undertook the boss fight. Two suits of armor came to life and went on the attack after they got poked with a stick by Rick. One turned out to be an animated Iron Maiden, and it spent almost the entire fight intent on pulling one of your team into its carapace and then slowly piercing them to death with spikes on the inside. Another was just content to swing and slam at your party, pretty dumb, pretty slow, and a swarm of spiders erupted from its cavity and went primarily after your casters. One party member, Rick, fell to the Iron Maiden suit after being inside and failing the death rolls. Unexpectedly, he appeared back in one of the beds in Mort's safe room, and he was then deliriously caught parts of the battle before falling unconscious, while an anxious Mort watched over him unbeknownst to Rick. After being joined by your cleric, Ivy, who overcame some personal trauma, and she got a Care Bear backpack ride to join the rest of you. And then with some massive crits and some big whammies, the spiders and the armor were all destroyed. A portal opened at the top of the boss room platform. However, your whole party elected not to investigate further at that stage and headed back to the safe room to rest rather than do that investigation. A three-person party consisting of Alia, Rick, and Zach then went back to investigate and collect the loot. A variety of items were found, which were distributed at the end of the last session. And we also noticed a portal glowing in the floor, but it had a shimmering opaque layer over it. No one tested, poked it, or prodded it, so you're not fully sure what was happening with it, but you do know that it was a boss fight announcement that hasn't been ended, and you know from your experience in the dreaming that in that particular situation, once everything was finished, there was a system announcement to the effect, even if the AI was ticked off at you guys in the dreaming, it still ended that confrontation. So that closure has not yet happened. Sorry, let me close my email because it's sending me updates. So now where you find yourselves, where you finished off, you were all together in Mort's safe room in various states of sobriety and injury. A pile of treasure was divvied up, including what you found to be an alchemy jug. And if you'd forgotten, you were also made privy to the fact that when you're in the safe room, if you have a safe room in a dungeon or in between the levels and you've got something that you can't identify, haven't been able to identify, Mort can actually, inside his safe room, identify that for you. And it just will take a period of time, depending on whether he knows what it is or not, or whether he has to do some research to suss out exactly what the item is. But he can do that, and there is no cost attached, as he is your Bobka, and he will look after you in that regard. So it appears at the moment that you have triggered the portal. It has opened up, but no one has investigated whether you can go through it or not. And as we now come back to this scene of some drunken revelry and other sobriety, Mort has brought out another supply of drinks. He's topping up glasses. He's keeping everyone well and truly liquidated with whatever it is that they're after, whether that's alcohol or non-alcoholic. And he's also brought out this time around 3 platters of burgers. He paid attention to Rick, who made a point of letting Mort know that he was a vegetarian. So there is now a platter of Impossible Burgers. There is normal hamburgers, and he has also just as he's laying the trays out, he has a third platter that contains a pile of about 10 pounds of food waste, a few burgers that have hit the floor, and that is a tray that he sits just in front of Alia, especially for her, having paid attention to her particular needs and wants and desires. So, Alia, if you want it, there's another 10 pound of food waste that you can either dig into and or
that's gone in my
tuck
bag.
away into your bag. So he might look kind of stupid and cartoonish, and he may have rubbed some of you the wrong way up until this point, but it's clear to all of you that he's paying attention to you and your party. He, for whatever you may think of him, whether you think it's self-interest or otherwise, and he hasn't made that clear. He definitely is taking care to pay attention to you, trying to get to know you, and he's trying to genuinely take care of you as best he can.
Sus.
To this point, Rick has arrived. Hang on, let me add you into the video. Hi, Jay.
Care Bear equal sus.
Sausage.
Well, you'll be able to have that conversation in 2 seconds. Just let me get you in.
I saw him venting over an electrical. Vote him out immediately.
He's the engineer. It's all right.
So with that,
Is
what would you like to do? You're still in this dungeon. You're in the safe room. You fed, you watered, and to Fokionis is powering through his drinks like a champion. They're barely touching the sides after his constitution roll last night. Last time we played, Ivy, however, is well and truly in her cups, and nobody else has been slamming the drinks quite as much as those two. So, what do you want to do?
Well, at some stage
No.
we should go back to check out this portal, should we not? Once we
Oh yeah, be the next level, but you want to be as well rested as possible before we go in.
Could
And there's also the issue with the treasure on this table. Like he's
So
looking
Mort
after that.
identified the alchemy jug.
Mhm.
Did he identify the rarity of the 2 healing potions yet?
Yes, they were just standard potions of healing, worth around 40 gold each.
Don't trust them. They're poison. Throw them away.
Don't you mean give them to Zach?
No, look. Zach came with Rick when he needed to go loot things. He gets at least another pack.
All right. And someone should, yeah. Do you want me to hold on to all this, for the time being, or
yes.
no?
Please
Yes.
hold.
All right. I'll
Yes.
hold on to it in my invincible bag, and then we'll go do a long rest, and then we'll check out this portal.
Okay, I will just out of courtesy, just mention that I believe Rick may have it, but there was a set of armor that was quite unique and different that came off the large goblin. That kind
Rick
of
ain't
looked
no
like
snitch.
a.
He ain't saying shit.
Okay, I just was mentioning it that it is an item that is of
Wait.
unknown.
What are you talking? It came off what?
This is
Goblin?
me talking to you
The
guys, and I
goblin
just
you
thought
killed.
I
Yeah.
would mention that if you would like to know what that item is, there is an opportunity to get more to identify it. But that's just above the table talk. But I thought I would mention
Sorry,
it in case it was forgotten.
So
You
that
can
was
do
the
it while we're all
hobgoblin
asleep.
that like melt. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you stripped him naked and took everything off him. So I've noted down what you were able to gather from him before he
Okay.
smoothed himself.
I took everything off him, but the only things that I actively like held onto were his longsword, shield, longbow, and arrows. I never
So
actually
who-
held onto the armor because I didn't have any reason to.
I have on there that it was either you or Fokionis took that armor. One of you definitely did.
because
So I
it's
made a
not in
note
my
that the party
inventory.
took it. Okay, so Fokionis, you have, in addition to the couple of shields and swords, oh my god, I really shouldn't look at that screen. Would you like to have that identified? Mort can happily do it while you guys are doing your rest.
Yes, please. Let's go. Hand it over.
Okay.
Tell me what I got. How good is it?
All right, so Mort turns that over in his hands. He's not familiar with it, but as you're heading off for your
That's a
long
good
rest,
start.
he promises to have it, have the information for you on what it is when he returns it to you when you wake.
Oh, you've just tried to undercut me, bro. I know how this works. I've sold stuff at cash converters before. Oh, I don't know, man. It's not very good. I'll give you $10.
So he's just got his head sort of tilted to the side. He's aware of some of the references that you guys make due to the indoctrination they had from the AI, but cash converters just go straight over his head. That one is completely misses the mark, and he just sort of nods at you and heads off into his space behind the bar. So as you all trundle into the room that is set up with essentially rows of beds, all single, there's no bunk beds or anything in there. There's enough space that you can have like a couple of beds in between each other, or you can cluster together. You can set yourselves up however you would like. You've seen so far that there has been no harm come to anyone who has been in those bedrooms. So what Mort has told you about the safe room, what the system has mentioned about the safe room, has certainly held true. And you can curl up there. You can either disrobe, or you can keep all your gear on you. That's entirely up to you. You make that decision, and get your 8 hours sleep. So if you guys give yourselves that long rest,
Oh, thank God.
and we will move forward. Nothing happens. You're in the safe room. You get a good sound. Some of you troubled, no doubt. I'm thinking Ivy would definitely have some troubled sleep with the mental scarring she has received, and Rick, I'm sure, has some dreams of Iron Maiden armor and some nightmares in there. But you've all got your own scars of what you left behind and what you dealt with before you hit the portal, and the things you're not sure that you left behind, and things that you know you did. So coming to, just filing out, find another steaming pile of food there for you. This time it's the equivalent of essentially like sausage and egg McMuffins. Mort's trying his best to change things up, but it appears that his repertoire is quite limited. But he has options there for all of you. There's another 10 pounds of scraps from just the bacon rinds and the eggshells and miscellaneous debris from cooking for this many people, and he always over caters, so it's clearly there for Alia unless someone else wants to pick through that. And then there is the vegetarian impossible options, and fake bacon, and the normal menu items there for you guys. As you're coming through, and Focionis comes out, Mort hands you back the armor and explains to you that it is an item called Glamored Leather Armor. So you can add that to your inventory. And in terms of its description, while you're wearing it, you gain whoever wears it +1 bonus to AC. You can also use a bonus action to speak the armor's command word, which whoever wears it and attunes to it decides on, and cause the armor to assume the appearance of a normal set of clothing or some other kind of armor. You decide what it looks like, including color, style, and accessories, but it maintains its normal bulk and weight. And the illusionary appearance lasts until you use that property again or remove it. So you've got a set of tough, flexible leather, studded, reinforced armor. And no, sorry, you don't need to attune to it. I do apologize. I said that falsely. So Focionis in your hand, Glamored Studded Leather.
Oh, Glamored Studded Leather.
Glamored Studded Leather. To do with as you see fit.
Add to equipment, because I'm all about extra armor class. Boom.
All right, so your food is there. The item has been identified. Despite Rick's susness of Mort, he has done as he said he would do. No harm came to anybody, and the armor was identified and handed over to Focionis upon waking. The last intention that was expressed there was from Zachary that your party would head after a rest and recuperating. And you notice that information that got dumped on you as you came through the portal of the way that the rest affected you as a crawler has certainly brought you all back to full health. So those injuries, no matter how severe, have healed. You still remember them, but they've stitched up. Your clothing has repaired itself around what were some gaping holes and wounds for some of you. And it has certainly proven true that
Spider bite.
the system has kept its word. You will carry the mental scars, but in terms of your physical ones, you're as good as you can be.
Sweet.
So where to now? What would you like to do?
Let's go back the way we came. Alright, say bye to Mort and
ignore Mort on the way out.
All right, is everybody ignoring Mort or
no?
just
I
Rick?
say bye to Mort.
No, just Rick.
I'm
going to assume just Rick.
See you, Mort.
All right. Well, those who he still wishes you all the best. Everyone gets a goodbye from Mort as they leave, even if Rick is cold shouldering him. Mort is paying the same courtesy to everybody. Wishing you all the best as you leave.
I will make it clear upon my exit. I do not cold shoulder him. When he says goodbye, I lock eyes with him. I choose not to answer.
So
because I know that's worse.
So it's not fully blown Amish, it's just cold shoulder.
I acknowledge that he's there. I just want him to know that I don't care.
Mort, with his single good eye, holds that eye contact, takes a deep breath, lets it out slowly, and just sort of a slight duck of his head he's recognized it. It made some sort of impact, but he
Good.
doesn't say anything.
Don't trust him. Don't want it.
You've made that very clear. Mort is very clear on
In case anyone didn't know, Rick doesn't
on
like
Rick's
him.
feelings.
I know I've been a little bit aloof with this, but I'll make it clear. Rick doesn't
Yeah,
like
you
guys.
definitely you need to make
yeah.
it more explicit, like hold
Oh,
up a sign or something,
yeah.
because you've
I'll-
been
I'll-
very
I'll-
kind of you've alluded to it, but you've never been explicit.
I
So
got to
glad
stop
that
playing
you-
it so close to the chest.
Yeah, Rick has definitely kept that in, has not expressed it at all at any great length or name
No,
calling
I
or
would-
anything.
Yeah, no, Rick's not forward
Alright.
enough for that. He wouldn't-
So your whole party, am I right that because I can expedite your movements here? So please just disregard the fact that you might still be showing up as your injuries. I'll need to update that through my imports, but you're all heading up to the portal just the same way that you went before. That, as far as you're aware, is that safe path, so you're not deviating from that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like, did you want to explore more of the level?
Assuming that we can't see this because, haven't explored it,
Yeah.
there's still, what, 2 areas that we haven't been to, basically? Or 3 if we include the secret bit that we can't see.
There are definitely areas of the dungeon, from the turns you've taken and the open areas that you turned right when you could have turned left. So if I move it a little bit, in terms of what I'm looking at on the stream, there was a section where the warhorse was, where you had that fight in the hallway, where looking to the left, you definitely knew that there was a pathway up there into another room because it was lit. There was a section way back at the beginning where you went left and then straight ahead that you could have turned right. They're all elements that you've seen, where you saw that there were pathways that you didn't take.
Above the table question, did you not say that we had a time limit of to get through each level before it?
That you were told that there is a time limit and you'll be notified as that time limit was close to being reached. You
Right.
have not received any kind of prompts that you are reaching that time limit at present. All you know is that portal is open. You have the opportunity to exit this dungeon into what has been referred to as the world between and mentioned as a safer space for you.
If and when we were to receive such a warning, is that a short warning before it's like get out, or is it like a long?
It
You'll
would be like-
find out if it's reached. You
Just-
don't know that. You
okay.
haven't been given that info.
Alright.
All you know is that there will be one if you are still in the dungeon and that timer is reaching whatever point that notification comes in.
What about if we should have gone back and asked Rick's mate.
I think that's that ship has dissolved.
Literally.
Oh, I'm making that
Yeah,
call.
let's just go through the portal.
All right, so that's what you're doing. Everyone's. Right,
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just go through the portal.
All right, so I'll get you all up to the portal room to step through, and then we'll move. So can I suggest, if you don't already have it open, get your D&D Beyond open at this point. You will need it very shortly. You're stepping through the portal.
Spoilers.
Yep. Spoilers and expediting. So with the portal that is open at the top of the stairs, when the last of your party comes through the doorway that you've now been in and out of several times, it slams shut once more, and you finally get that notification that at least some of you have been kind of wondering if it was going to occur. And let me load that notification up. Hang on. So you start to get that kind of that over the top, really obnoxious and annoying ring announcer voice that starts to come through, and then it kind of peters off. And the winner finally, how long ago did this happen? And the team's what? Still TBC. They still don't have a name. And then so what was starting with some enthusiasm just kind of peters off into, all right, congratulations, Crawler TBC team, on making it through the first level of the fall season on Earth.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
that's our name.
Your
Not
your
gonna
level
lie.
has now been increased to 3. You all receive the equivalent of a full 8-hour long rest. And this is all this is all happening as you're approaching up to that portal. You see the sheen. So you went from this enthusiasm that you'd previously had. It was just disinterest at this point. You certainly have not caught the attention of the system announcement. Whether that's the AI or the algorithm, you're unsure, but it has really kind of dusted its hands and been disinterested and almost on autopilot at this point, ticking a box with you guys. So you've received that equivalent long hour rest. You've increased your level to 3, and the sheen that is over the top of that portal now disappears. So that happened the instant that you came through the door.
We're going to level 3.
With the
Yes.
Yep, you're going to level 3. The door is now shut. You've headed through that portal. Elected not to explore any further in that dungeon. And there's a bit of information coming your way here that I will send through to you because I know there'll be a bit of a break between tonight and our next session, but you will need this info tonight as well. So when you step into the darkness, there's no stairs this time. There's that through the portal. There's that familiar darkness that you're now becoming not comfortable with, but used to, and that screen prompt, a similar version of it to what you saw when you chose your level, your character in your class when you first came in, comes up, and you're going through what some of you are probably no doubt doing now on D&D Beyond and updating and choosing what happens with you at level 3. If I can give you one recommendation, don't finalize your decisions with level 3 until you hear all this info. You can't see where you're going back into the description. So the information dump that you received this time is not quite as jarring as it was the first time you went into the portal and entered the dungeon, where you received so much that it was just overwhelming and almost fried some of your synapses. This time it's slightly more comfortable. You're getting used to this process, and it doesn't feel like there's as much information coming through. So whereas before it felt almost like your brain was being rewired, and it probably was with your new things that have happened to your body, and some of you some really significant changes to your race or species, a little bit more comfortable this time. So what you receive is the information that you were in a Care Bear level, pun intended, with one chance not to die each that has now expired. You received that particular bonus out of your dreaming. So you were a group of dreamers where your entire group actually entered the dungeon portals after having been together in the dream, which is why you ended up together in a party. And when you were in the dreaming, you passed as a team that tier 1 of the dream challenge by defeating Lawrence. And that's what gave you those couple of minor bonuses in addition to the larger ones that some of you received when you started the dungeon itself with some extra feats and stats. There were extra bonuses that you could have received teased at you with this information dump, but because you elected to take, in the system's words, the coward's way out and not complete tier 2 of that challenge, you did not receive those epic level rewards. Now, for the level that you just gained and any previous spells and skills that you have assigned to yourself that required items or materials, you have been granted those by the system, and those have just worked. So if you needed gold dust or particular components for those spells to work, you just received them and they just happened. After this level, so for this level, whatever you choose, you will receive those materials. So please do add them in, whatever you may require for this is for the casters especially, but if you have any particular spells or ability that require materials, please make sure that you put those into your inventory so you have them on hand. After this level, so from when you achieve, hopefully, level 4 by surviving onwards, any levels that you gain, spells that you change over to, for those of you who are casters who can swap your spells in and out with rest, you need to make sure you have the materials for those spells to work. So please do keep in that mighty mind moving forward, that you will need to beg, borrow, scavenge, steal, find, craft, whatever, the components that you need from this point on.
Some of those components are extremely specific. Is there? I don't want to spoil anything. Will there be a chance for us to maybe buy stuff at some point? Okay.
Yeah, I had to look through that. Yes.
Some of those, some spell components are like insanely specific in what you need.
Yeah, there definitely will be. Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank
you.
And yes, I've been through that with the mixing. Okay. Now, you also receive, as you're passing through this, you can feel a movement in the darkness, but you can't see what's happening. But you definitely feel that you're being transferred somewhere. You definitely feel a movement sensation. And you're filled in on that the world between that you're going into is a semi-safe space for crawlers between the dungeon levels. You could be here because of the speed at which you finished your dungeon. There are still many groups and teams that are slogging their way through their particular dungeon challenges, and you could potentially, depending on how long they take, be here for up to a week potentially. That will be at the discretion of the system. There's some businesses in the world between that you're about to enter into that have been granted a license to trade. So Mort will be able to tell you more about this. And he has maps for each of you of the world between. So you'll receive that when you arrive, and that particular map that every crawler gets will update if you continue on your way through as the world between populates more as the dungeon crawl goes along. But what you will find is that a lot of the world between shops, stalls, etc., are essentially closed at this point. They are not yet populated by the system because it is only level 1. The training level has just been complete. The full scope of what is available is not yet open to everybody. You need to achieve further levels of the dungeon before you receive before those shops and stalls and everything else get populated in. The other bit of information that you receive is that in that world between, it's a semi-safer space where there will be opportunities potentially to undertake tasks, to earn further experience, money, but even maybe even levels, depending on what opportunities arise for you while you're waiting for other crawlers to finish and for the opportunity to enter level 2 of the dungeon arrive. So there are potential opportunities there to definitely keep your eye out for if you would like to maybe further yourselves before tackling the next dungeon. Those opportunities will exist. After this in-between stage, when level 2 commences, a multiverse leaderboard will be in effect, with every team that has survived and enters level 2 being ranked on that leaderboard. The sponsors will then be able to potentially sponsor your team's dedicated channel and the feed that Borant is putting out for each and every team, and for a vast variety of shows and programming that occur around the fall. But in order to exit this world between and enter level 2 and appear on that leaderboard, your party must register a name with your Bobka before you can descend into level 2. So at some point before the next level of the dungeon opens up, your team does need to decide on a party name that will be compared against a list of other party names that are already registered and reserved terms and words by Mort in the system. And if it's appropriate, then your team will be named whatever that might be for the remainder of the
Goblin
crawl.
Slayers.
What was it they've been calling us so far? Like the random string of
The
letters. And
crawlers.
numbers?
It's TBC, essentially to be confirmed.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I vote for that.
I thought we could call ourselves Mort. Nah.
I'll save you a conversation with Mort. TBC is a system reserved term, but that you won't be able to use because at the moment every team that doesn't have a name is using that code.
Oh.
I'll save you that conversation just in terms of expediency.
All right,
Can
well,
we?
that was
Can
the
we?
real
Goblin
TBC.
Slayers.
Let me give you 2 more bits of info, and then let's lob you in, and we'll go
Wait.
through.
Sorry, real quick. Could we do like TBC1 or just like TBC but in lowercase?
No,
Real TBC.
No?
but you might find the rest
T-
of your team doesn't want that
Yeah.
name as well.
TBC, but
I
a
vote
special
Goblin
character.
Okay, so the other thing to be aware of is that other crawlers may engage in hostilities with you and may attempt to take you out. There are certainly
fun.
crawlers who take that on as their way of moving through and leveling up through the crawl. So they can potentially attack you. You can potentially attack them. So do keep your guard up while you're in the world between. Don't let your guard down outside of your safe room.
Oh my God, I can't tell.
And unless they break the rules and initiate hostilities with you, the residents of the world between, so those essentially retired crawlers or those who've been handed really stringent contracts like Mort has entered into with Borant to essentially survive the crawl and obtain at some point in the future their freedom. If you try and initiate hostilities or attacks on them, there will definitely be penalties applied unless they, for some reason, initiate that with you first. And then, I know I mentioned the quest opportunity. So with that, this is the final little bit. You all step out of that darkness, and it's just that instant into the light. You're portaled into existence just as you were when you first entered the dungeon. You are in your safe room, which is a bit larger than it was last time, a bit more spacious, still the same decor, still the same sort of setup. But this time around, instead of being half drunk on the counter and thinking that he was a teddy bear, initially, as your party is sort of Nightcrawler style bamfing into existence, when the final one of you arrives, and Mort isn't there initially, and then when the final one of you comes through, Mort is also bamfed into existence in front of you guys. And whereas before he had that teddy bear look, he looks like he has just stepped out of the shower. He has a hairdryer in one hand that the cord is dangling, clearly having been unplugged from the wall as he was using it. His hair is just poofed out everywhere. So whereas before it's kind of these beautiful gold strands that are laying down against his skin and looking, very cute and cuddly, he now just looks like a cat that has run out of the shower and rolled around in the grass to get themselves dry. He is puffed out like crazy and just sort of a half stunned look at you all. And everybody's thankful for the fact that it doesn't matter that he's not wearing pants because he's a Care Bear. So nothing is on display. What you do notice,
I just want to run up and go, "It's so fluffy," and rub my face.
you certainly can, and you'll come up to about his I'll say his belly for the interest of family friendliness, and it just sort of he's still kind of getting his bearings. This is a very unexpected turn of events for Mort. Like, it was a very quick transition from where you guys left him. He's used to you guys coming back and forth and dawdling around and chatting for hours before you make a decision. So as you guys left him, he's headed off to the world between, and he has just stepped out of the shower and you've interrupted it. His post shower drying. What you do notice, and he's not making any attempt to hide this, but with the hair all fluffing out on Mort's forearm, so his right forearm, the one that's holding the hairdryer, which is why you notice it, you can see that there is a tattoo almost the length of his forearm, and it's a dagger, a very simple dagger with a plain hilt. And then around the dagger, it looks like there is a large gold ring, or not gold because it's a black and white tattoo, but a large, almost like a wedding band that is sort of hanging at an angle from that dagger. It's not, doesn't appear to be anything insidious or anything like that. It's just something you hadn't noticed because the hair had been covering it, and it is now very clearly visible. What would you like to do?
Rub my face in his belly.
Yep. So at the moment, we've got Alia rubbing her face in Mort's belly. Actually, while you guys decide, sorry, it has just started hammering down rain. I do apologize. I need to run and shut some windows. Sorry, I'll be right back. Make sure you finish your level 3s and add your components.
Oh, we can level up now? Awesome.
Yeah. I have a pet Drake.
I already did one. It was pretty easy.
So we can level up now?
You want to pick?
Yeah, I already done it.
I did one.
As soon as he said level 3, I was like, I was going.
What sort of bread? Like berserk, thanks.
Yeah, can we change classes now?
Yeah, that was going to be my exact question. Class I want to use, I wasn't allowed to use. I would like to be an artificer now, please.
Maybe, I think you said level 4?
I want a gun. Thanks.
Just want a gun.
Rick's given up, guys. Rick just wants a Glock.
He's given up.
I can give you a pet Drake. Do you want a pet Drake?
I love the fact that all that time Spa was like describing the new rules, and he just casually slipped the fact that people are just gonna start committing murder in there.
Yeah.
Very casually, just like, oh,
Yeah,
murders. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, yeah, not like fake goblin murders, like actual real people are gonna go try and murder you.
Like a day are just gonna start offing each other.
I've been here 2 days.
Now it's turning into the Hunger Games.
Uh,
I just need to know if I
Yeah,
can
a bit.
use non-player's handbook because the monk I want to be is not in the player's handbook. That would be nice. if I
Sad.
could. Oh, technically I could multi-class. Hang.
yeah, why not? Monks with guns. The future now.
Actually, with the way the monk rules are laid out at the moment, I could do that. I could end up with a feat that would allow me to use my guns in melee range and end up with like a gun keto monk.
Only if you had some,
Crossbow
like, you
expert.
know,
Yeah, that's
contrived
very good.
Moriarty type gun up your sleeve that just flicks out.
Oh, that'd be good. I could always play the one monk that literally no one's ever played, go with Sun Soul, and then just shoot freaking magic from my hands for no reason.
Yeah, there's a reason why no one plays it.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's not a very well balanced class, which is great because it's in next to Drunken Master, which is probably the best monk we've ever gotten, and Kensei, which is kind of Kensei is redundant now that they've made the new changes, some of the new optional abilities. But oh well. Wait, is that all you get as the Sun Soul monk? Just the ability to shoot the Sunbolts at level 3?
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
What else do you
Every
do?
other monk gets so much else, like so much stuff.
And like even then, you can't use the blast for all your attacks. I think you have. I think when you use your bonus action attack with a key point, you have to punch something.
Oh, so when you make the attack action on your turn and you can use the special attack as part of it, you can spend a key point to make the same special attack twice as a bonus action. And then when you get the extra attack,
yeah.
this special attack can be used for any of the attacks as part of the extra attack.
Alright.
It's just a
I must
range
have
attack.
changed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a range like gradient, which is kind of cool if you're going for that. Like, you might as well just play the second worst monk and throw fire everywhere. Monk.
Be a archer monk.
I could actually.
Zen archer was in Pathfinder. Zen archer.
If you want
monk
to
is
quit
very
smoking, these are really good.
What are they?
good. I didn't start.
Yeah, same.
They're disposable vapes,
Right.
Oh, nice.
so it's already like pre-mixed, everything like that, and it actually works. Like I've been on this 2 days now, and I've cut down massively.
Cool.
Oh, I'm so
Okay.
sorry about that. Holy crap, it is
Yeah,
absolutely
we-
hammering down.
Okay, so
Have-
Not advertising on Twitch, by the way.
We have picked up a team name. It's Zachary's group.
Yep.
What? What's happened now?
What now? When did we agree to that? Hang on.
So the group's name is hashtag Zachary is amazing and has a giant cock. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, the original name was already taken, so we're gonna add some numbers at the end. Turns out it's a very popular name.
We've lost Rick on the video feed.
Yep, I've just put him back in.
Yeah, video crashed.
All right, I've just added you back
Ninja.
in.
Thank you.
I'm
Ninja
sorry that
crashed.
I'm going to have missed whatever it was you were saying while I was gone, because it only gets the audio when it comes through.
It's fine.
Video.
And then
the
I have
stream.
I have 2 more problems that are like driving me nuts with your fucking Twitch.
Jeez.
Spa, I have some questions.
Okay.
First off, you said
Can I deal with the? So what's the Twitch issue first?
Oh, Twitch issue.
Okay, one. Pocahontas is not. His picture is not level with his name. It's driving me nuts.
No, that's good.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, and any serious
And the
issues?
other
This is a
egg.
serious issue.
is not like scented.
No, he was when I started. He's moved his camera and position around. I am not fucking around with
Stop it!
everyone's position for your OCD. Every time they move the camera, you can.
No, it moves with
All
my
right.
head.
Okay, the person who needs to stop it
Okay.
is Lily with those name suggestions.
Actually, no. No, you
Now.
know what? I take it back. I will vote for any of Lily's names.
Same.
Specifically,
Same.
69 MILF Lover 69. Big fan of that one.
I do like
Show.
Oh, so
55
your
Muncher.
team is having a discussion on team names. I take it.
Yeah.
After you get
Anyway,
there.
while that's happening, I do actually have some questions about leveling up because I haven't started yet because I need questions answered. So,
Yeah. So
You said
Mort
it's
is
some-
there. He's getting a hug from the raccoon. He's got a
oh shit,
hairdryer in one hand, tattoo in his forearm. You're in the safe room. You're all together. You've had that big information dump. Certainly feel free to ask.
These for the sake of simplicity, these level up questions are for you, Spa.
Okay. Yep.
Because they're about like what I can I pull from any book now in terms of level up, or can I only use Player's Handbook?
And
Like for my
Not-
archetype.
That kid in the class that asked that question.
Because if it's only Player's Handbook, I'm gonna multi-class. If it's not Player's Handbook, I'll stick with a level 3 monk. Because the Player's Handbook monks are bad. And I don't like
I am happy with you to expand out into the sources we
Okay.
have available to us.
Thank you.
I'm not going to do any of them, even though you technically can. I don't want to open up the multi-classing or any of the adjustments until it hits that story.
Okay, yep, that's my new favorite.
Okay. So the next question was, can we? You said at one point we'd have a chance to just change our classes. Can we do that yet?
Not yet. You haven't
Okay.
yet reached that point, but yes,
So-
that opportunity is coming.
I vote the newest one
that
that
is
Lily
all.
has entered. That's
Wanna
my
pass?
vote.
Do you want to have that as a party conversation then and actually verbalize it? Because otherwise, it's a little bit confusing. I'm sorry.
I second that one. I
Barely
Yep.
making
also-
it.
damn it! I was hoping we'd pick a name without ever actually like expanding on it. It'd be
So
very
what's
funny.
sorry, what is your group looking to register, and are you going to present that to Mort?
Well, that's 3 out of 5 votes, so there you go. It's
I-
barely making it.
Is everybody going with that?
No, new one.
Can you verbalize these instead of typing them in the chat, please? 'Cause
No.
this is
This
a
one we're not verbalizing.
We should.
We can't verbalize this one because it's one of the words is actually against TOS.
oh my god.
The last word you can't say on Twitch, which is great. I vote for that one because we'll never be able to say it on screen.
We're just chaos.
We are now
Chaos.
Team Chaos.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
audience
so is
will
that
never
unanimous that you are
Yep.
you are looking to register your name without the acronym explained? Just
No, with the
Yeah.
acronym. It's got to be with the acronym.
Oh yeah, we're telling them the acronym. We're not telling the watchers at home because we don't want to get you banned, Spa. Obviously.
mhm.
What about people?
You can look in the chat, you just can't say it.
Oh, I can foresee the best game of Pictionary coming up.
It's great. If we play a
So-
game of Pictionary,
with your registering of your name, even though he's yellow fur, you see Mort Blanche visibly whitening a little at the description of your acronym. But when he's looking in the system of approved and available names, he, with a slight hesitancy and shudder in his voice, just lets you know that he can register you as Chaos.
Excellent.
The rest of that information is not recorded in the system, the meaning of the acronym. Or
Really?
your
'Cause-
team name will not be suitable for
it-
the
really sounds
the
like companies
broadcast.
breaking their own rules. Good to know they're not consistent.
they certainly
This interplanetary
have double
body.
standards. Yeah, that's very clear. They do definitely have double standards. And whomever or however that, whether it's the AI itself or a subroutine that is handling those naming, it's not clear, but Chaos in capitals.
It's like,
So
kill billions of people. That's okay, but like
Yeah.
a rude word.
rude words are apparently maybe detrimental to the feed. Who knows? It's not made clear. Mort has the information he can access as the Bobka, and he is able to register Chaos. He's not able to register the rest of your name. And it may be just something as simple as that some of those terms do not make sense throughout the multiverse, and Simp may not be an intergalactic translation that is
Pretty sure that's universal.
that works. So
Okay, so
so chaos it is. Team Chaos.
So-
You all blink and fade overhead where you had the pointed brackets that had TBC now has in all caps chaos and then fades.
So the multiverse doesn't understand the very popular four-letter S word, but apparently a universal constant is egg and bacon McMuffins.
Mate, you need to take it up with the AI if you ever get the chance to.
Oh, I will.
to meet
McDonald's
it.
is everywhere, man.
The moment I get the chance, I'm speaking to the manager.
Everywhere you go, there's a Mac.
And you're also forcing me to navigate Twitch terms of service with your naming conventions. So you're just gonna have to roll with some of this.
We're trying to keep it simple, but we can't.
Oh yeah, nice work with the
Do
simple.
I-
Yep.
So do I be mean and point out that one of you has already accidentally said that word on stream?
Yeah,
well,
I
it's kind of-
just did it. I know.
Yeah, you did.
I realized it and just kept on talking. Thanks for bringing it back to that. Let's move on.
Oh, you're welcome.
So,
anytime.
what each of you also receive as Mort and Spa attempt to deflect from the conversation that's just taken place is you all receive from Mort as he hands it to you a piece of parchment, but it's got an interesting texture to it. Not something you've ever felt before, but on that piece of parchment is your copy of the World Between map, which I'm about to drop in the Discord. And you will have this copy, and it will be updated as like the system said, as you go through the levels and as more things are added that you can access. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting to see the rock on an egg as I loaded that through.
I think you'll find that his name is Dwayne the Yoke Johnson.
Oh, the file is too big. Okay. Well, that sucks.
That's what she said.
You have Nitro in your server though, so it shouldn't matter.
It tells me that I need to have Nitro myself, but that's okay. I'll just take a snip of it and drop it in there for you guys, and then I'll load it up on
Well, if you
stream for
want to
everybody
send
else.
it to me or something, I can upload it.
But for right now, there's your map, and I will load it into now where you guys are in.
Just give us access to the GM part of the Dropbox.
Oh, you had it
Yeah.
far too long.
Oh wait, I do.
All right, so there you've got as you're all clustered around the Mort in the safe room. Again, the map. This one didn't do a terribly good job of scaling into Foundry. I do apologize. So you'll just need to bear with me as we navigate it. Your tokens and the grid you'll see don't quite align. So we're just going to need to work with it. So that entire building that you're all scattered through, essentially where you are clustered is under the number 1. But the safe room itself is a much larger structure this time around. As I said, it's expanded. It seems to have a few more facilities. It's still the things you're familiar with, but it's a bit larger. And it appears that there may be a few more things accessible. If not yet, then they're certainly coming down the track. On that map, as you look at it, you can see that there's 5 locations that are marked. And as the system informed you, they're ones that are available to you that you at least know exist, or that you can visit, or you can walk past. So it's a limited selection. There's Mort Safe
Where
Room,
did
which you're
Ivy
already
just go?
in and you're familiar with. Where did what? Sorry, go.
Where did Ivy just go?
She just moved a token. I haven't done the
Oh.
token control on this one because I was stuffing around so much with the scaling that I haven't locked it down. But that's okay. I trust you guys.
You
I
shouldn't.
clearly shouldn't, but I do.
We immediately
Put your
will
tokens
kill
back.
everybody else.
Put them back, or there's going to be a rock fall. So on your map, you see that you've got the safe room. You've got a building noted labeled Mishmash Merchants. There's a building labeled the Desperado Club, another one labeled Club Vanquisher, and strangely and seemingly a little bit out of place is the World of Cheese. The rest is, you can obviously see that there is space for a lot more to be added, and on the map itself, you can see that this has quite a fair bit of space. It has boundaries. Outside of those boundaries, there is nowhere for you to go, so it is picturesque. Apparently, from the map, you haven't actually stepped out of the safe room yet. but it is definitely limited in size to apparently to the boundaries that are in place here. So other than cuddling Mort and receiving your map and those couple of clarifying questions, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go visit the cheese.
World of cheese.
World of cheese.
All right. Do you
We
mention
don't-
this as you're leaving?
Can we see other like
Hey, they can come if they
players
want.
there?
I'm on a
I'm quite
cheese
literally
mission.
chanting World of cheese.
You cannot see any other players at this point.
No callers?
You are
Can't fight
safe
World of
in Mort's
Cheese.
safe room. So if you're mentioning that you are going to the World of Cheese and you're right up against Mort, Mort asks you, Alia, and hands over a small sack that the weight of it feels to you like it's about 10 gold pieces. Asks you if you can pick up a large wheel of brie cheese from the World of Cheese and to keep the change.
why
But he
not?
also
Free
mentions
money.
that he has had some disagreements over the years with the proprietor of World of Cheese, so please don't mention that it's for him. So he
No
wants whatever
worries,
the
mate.
largest wheel of brie cheese is. Do you accept doing that? Or will you do that for more?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Side
So you've now got
Yes, my
10
fairy
gold.
friend.
You got 10 gold in your inventory for that purchase. Mort looks extremely appreciative of that.
I'm richer than all of you.
Rick has already left and is on his way to Mishmash Merchants.
Before you bail, there was one other thing. I'm sorry that because the storm hit, I missed one other element of you guys exiting on my list of information for you.
Oh my
You
God.
received a notification as you were going through, stepping into the portal, that you completed 60% of the dungeon. So the total reward for your party, now C.H.A.O.S, but your party TBC that came up and notified you before you receive anything was 1,000 gold, and that then counts down to 600 gold that your party receives, and that is split evenly across. So figure that out yourselves and add that to your.
I'm good at maths.
120.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
120.
There you go.
120.
Add
Okay.
120 gold to each of your accountings in, and add in. I hope you all added your share of the gold and silver and gems.
No,
and
they
figured
gave it
out.
all to me.
Okay, so Zachary's the.
Yeah, no, we haven't had that properly. Like, we have like a vague, like, this is roughly how much it is worth, but we haven't actually had someone be like, this is the dollar amount yet.
That's why Rick's going to the merchants.
I gave you the dollar amounts of what you had earned from your boss fight, and I put the gems that you received. There were 9, 10 gold value gems. I put all that in the Discord.
Oh, so that was the
Yeah.
exact value, because
I
you said
can't
we
see
still
it.
needed
Yeah.
to get them, like, figured out what
Oh,
each gem
there.
was.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. I thought I
No,
I
no,
thought I
that's
then
okay.
changed that with time to give you those. And so you had the 2 healing potions. You've identified those with Mort. There were just 2 potions of healing that are worth around 40 gold each. You got the alchemy jug that's been identified. C.H.A.O.S has the glamored leather armor that, to the best of my knowledge, is still in his inventory.
I'm wearing
And
it,
you
baby.
also have. Oh, you put it on, okay?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. So you've now got
Oh, I didn't see.
looking
if there's
very
any gold
stylish in
pieces.
that glamored
Oh,
leather
no,
armor.
still
Now,
pieces.
before you use it the first time, or when you use it the first time to change its appearance for C.H.A.O.S, you do need to let me know what the word is, the command word that you
125
are
silver
essentially
pieces.
programming into it.
So you're suggesting that when I put this studded leather armor on before I use it, I need a safe word?
Not a safe word, an action word. You can call it a safe word if you want. It's
I mean,
look at the properties of it. It's you need to have a command word that will make it change appearance based on the guidelines of that piece of equipment. So at the moment, it's just a really nice looking fancy piece of leather armor, but it can change appearance if you choose a command word and activate it, and then describe how you want it to look in those limitations.
Can we evenly split the gems amongst us then, if we know that it's exactly 90?
Yep.
Yep. Everyone would get 18 gold worth of gems.
So,
Yep.
So add another
I've calculated the total amount of loot from that, and that's 272.5 gold pieces. So if we divide all that, everyone gets 54.5 gold pieces.
on top of the
Well,
18.
you could also keep those gems
On top
together
of
and
the
sell them
120.
and split that. That's up to you. But those gems you're actually receiving as an item.
Do you want to keep
I would take my share of gems. I don't trust anyone.
All right.
Es-
So
Just sell them.
And as
Sell them all.
Rick
That-
does not trust this group, and Jay knows better than to give money to casters.
Look, as the first person to grab their share of it, so Jay, you ended up with the turquoise, the azurite, and the obsidian. So because there was an odd number and you grabbed first in that divvy up, everyone else ended up with 2 of those gems if you want to pick specific ones or you need them for any of your spells, etc. Yeah, do your inventory management, but that's all been dropped in. So you guys completed 60% of the dungeon and received that gold reward. I do apologize. The storm threw me out when it dropped. Okay, so heading out of there, I've heard so far, and I just need to check my screen here. So
maybe we
we've
should
got
complete more of the dungeon next.
No.
we've got Rick is heading. He's just charged out the door. I don't know if Rick said to anyone where he was going.
Rick just said,
despite-
I'm going shopping, and then walked out.
Okay, so Rick is headed out. I'm going to move you towards the Mishmash Merchants, and I'm just not going to take any action on that at the moment until I know where everybody's going to be, so I can manage those interactions.
I'm going to the world of cheese.
All right, so Fokionis is heading to the World of Cheese. Yeah. Is anyone else going to the World of Cheese?
Well, yes.
So Ali is already there.
Yeah.
Zachary, Ivy.
You said there was a club?
There is noted on there. There is the Desperado Club and Club Vanquisher are both noted on the map.
The Desperado
closer?
Club's closest. Yeah.
Desperado Club is closer.
Okay, there is.
Okay.
Seems like a high class place.
All right. So I'm just going to deal with these in order of expediency because there's more things for you to see and potentially do than others. So for Zachary and Ivy, you come to the closest to the safe room is don't move yourself in there. You can't actually go in there yet. Leave your token alone. So that you're all aware of one aspect of this, as you're walking out of the safe room, I will say just for narrative, you are all walking as a group that then separates out. So you all go past the Desperado Club together. What you notice as you're going past that club is that same tattoo you noticed on Mort's forearm, that dagger that had the circle around it. Each of you have that when you get near the building, starts to glow in various different parts of you. You've all been marked with that symbol. You have no information at this point as to why or how. No one talked to Mort about his either. So you've got no real frame of reference other than, Mort had one of these and you've each got one. So for Fokionis, where it starts to glow is underneath the armor that he's now got on. It doesn't matter what you've got on, it actually glows through it. So Fokionis's dagger is actually appearing between his pectoral muscles. So the hilt, kind of, if you've ever seen Brock Lesnar, it's a very small version of what he has with the big Viking sword on his chest and into his stomach. But it's a smaller dagger. So the dagger is sitting with the hilt between the chest muscles, the slight flaring out to the side underneath slightly, and then the small blade heading down, stopping at about where your solar plexus is. So that glows on your armor as you're walking past the Desperado Club. For Ivy and Alia, yours are actually wrapped around your wrists. So the hilt and the ringlet are on the front of your wrist where all the veins are, and then the back of it, the blade wraps around it. And for Ivy, it's on your right wrist, and Alia, it's on your left. Zachary, it actually glows through the gloves that you have on, and for yours, it's on the palm of your right hand. You have that glowing symbol. And for Rick, yours is on your left forearm. So yours is like a mirror image of where Mort's was. So where his was on the right forearm, yours is on the left forearm. So you all have that glowing symbol. You all clearly see it. It lights up on you, and you also see it on the rest of your party members as you're walking to or past the Desperado Club. And as you're going to or past that club, you can actually see that all of the windows and doors are plastered over with newspapers and bits of scraps of paper and concert posters and essentially different versions of coming soon. It's clearly locked. It's closed up. There's a big Desperado club sign there that has that picture of the dagger and the ringlet over the hilt on the sign, but it is closed. It is not accessible at this point.
I'll go with Rick then.
All right, so Zach's heading with Rick over to Mishmash Merchants and Ivy.
Sorry, I was.
Well
He
done.
tried to go in the club, but it's closed.
Yeah,
So the
the
club's
other
closed
club-
and you had a tattoo
club.
glow when you went near it. And that glow stayed. It didn't glow and fade. When you were near that club, it stayed glowing. All right, and Ivy's headed over to Club Vanquisher. So for all of you, as you depart from the Desperado Club and kind of get out of whatever the radius of that building is, the tattoos fade from view. There's, for those of you who can actually see like your wrists or if your forearms are visible, you can see that the tattoo is there. You just haven't noticed it. Some of you have had sleeves covering it. Others you've had like braces or bracelets, or you just haven't simply noticed with everything else that's going on that at some stage you have received that marking. But it fades from that glow is now gone. Ivy, when you get to Club Vanquisher, you don't notice any apparent changes. Nothing glows on your person, but it is similarly closed. Its sign, though, that says Club Vanquisher is actually an angel halo with two angel wings on either side of the halo for Club Vanquisher. But nothing happens, and it is also closed. So for Ivy, you have choices of World of Cheese with Alia and Fokionis. You know they're there, and Zachary and Rick are in Mishmash Merchants.
Yes, Mishmash Merchants. No
Is that
club
closed
pie.
too, just to speed things up?
Yeah, so both of those buildings are open, and you will both be entering. So your groups will enter them separately for separate situations and encounters. So going through these, first off, I'm actually going to do Fokionis and Ali because there's only two of you there. So Fokionis and Alia, you enter the world of cheese, and I need to flip my screens here. Of course, you split the party. I'm sure there's some payback or karma going on here.
Why wouldn't we? We're in safe place.
All right. So as you enter in to the world of cheese, Fokionis and Alia coming in, you first the thing that you notice is the smell that hits you is just this heady array of all kinds of cheese odors. There is everything from sweet to sour to moldy to everything in between. There's great wheels and blocks and strings of cheese hanging around. It's all very orderly is the second thing you notice. It's very organized. It's very clearly laid out. All the different types of cheeses are labeled in their sections. You can see a giant wheel of brie, and there is many of them stacked neatly that Mort had asked you to get for. And there's no prices on anything, but there is so much cheese in the building. It is a huge affair. It is essentially like walking into a half-sized Bunnings. It is massive, floor to ceiling, row upon row upon row of this very orderly displays of cheeses. Walking through, and it's essentially almost like IKEA where it guides you through where you need to go. Your path meandering takes you to the front counter where you can see a person working behind. There only appears to be one person in the store. And they're a very interesting looking character. They've got a square chiseled jaw, slicked back hair, a really like over the top cared for mustache that is clearly oiled or waxed and curled up. The proprietor is wearing this just huge overcoat. Sticking out the bottom of that are clearly what appear to be very functional trousers and almost like steel-toed style boots. They're a little bit different to what you've seen before. Got sideburns going down the side of his face. He's a very interesting looking character with high cheekbones and a very classic physique of broad shoulders, narrow hips, and he is quite tall. So not quite as tall as Phocyonis, but definitely well over 6 foot tall. And when he sees you guys come in, the voice is really different to the person that you've seen, and you get this quite high pitched, and he welcomes you to the world of cheese. What would you like to do?
Oh, cheese. I would like to purchase some cheese.
Would you like to know?
Can we taste cheese? Is there a cheese wheel?
Are you asking the proprietor?
Oh, yes.
But of course. And so this platter of cheese is placed in front of you, and there is everything from like the classic plasticky American cheese. There's a couple that you've never seen or heard before that may or may not be earthbound, made from some sort of animal that has similarities to you've seen the brie. There's Camembert style. There's burratas, cheddars, all feta, goat cheese, or maybe goat cheese. It looks like it with the crumbly texture and the little bit of liquidity to it. There's your classic Goudas. There's a whole just slate of these are plated up for you, ready to go. This is something that he is clearly used to doing, and is ready to rock and rumble with that platter. You have around 20-25 cheeses that you can select from, the mild flavors all the way through to your what appear to be like the blue cheese, quite pungent and strong flavors.
Sounds great.
Phocyonis is doing a cheese board.
I'm eating cheese, yeah.
And he's very chuffed to be sharing that with you. This is a guy who clearly loves what he does. And I'm just with Alia. What would you like to do?
Cheese. What's Alia? I'm trying to keep it away from Alia as well.
I need to buy cheese.
And what he's looking you up and down, and what cheese do you need? It's still
I need your
confused by
largest
you.
wheel of brie cheese.
Just going on a shopping spree.
A fine choice. And he's initially giving these double takes because it seems that initially he had assumed that this was a customer walking in with either a pet or a familiar or a companion. So, as with almost everyone you've met, you had the talking raccoon is definitely out of place, even in this strange multiversal battleground that you guys find yourselves in. But he retains his composure, goes over and gets the largest block of brie, which is around, it's almost as big as you, Alia. It is just under 3 foot wheel. Like, it is bigger than any of the standard kind of 15 centimeter wheels of brie that you're familiar with. And even he's a big guy, but he's struggling under its weight just a little, and plonks it on the counter, and that'll be 2 gold.
2 gold.
And he's still a little bit dubious as to exactly what's happening here, but you're a customer. You've spoken up.
Expensive.
And you've got this giant wheel of brie that is somewhere around the 40 pounds of cheese.
They get to roll out.
Like a frisbee.
So are you going to? You've got 10 gold from Mort, and he told you to keep the change. Are you going to pay the man?
Yeah, I'll pay him 2 gold. Why not? No. Well, no,
Right,
actually, I'll give.
Haggle him there.
I'll
I'll give him.
Take as much of Mort's money as you can.
50 silver pieces.
1 gold and what? Sorry.
50 silver pieces.
So you place that
on the
counter.
No, don't do that. Don't.
And
Why?
he looks at you perplexed, and he's giving you like a little bit of a benefit of the doubt because he's still not sure what the hell you are. And he just kind of slides the wheel of cheese back towards him, so it's no longer on your side of the counter, and almost like he's speaking to a young child. I need 1 more of these, and pushes the silver back to you, and is pointing to the gold coin.
Did you say you're gonna give him 1 gold and 50 silver? Because if that's what you're giving him 6 gold.
I thought she said 1 gold and 5
That's what
silver.
I was
No,
trying
Sorry.
she said
I
50.
didn't. Well, you've got the GM's benefit there.
Because I'm
that I misheard
retarded.
you.
I
So
don't know
you've got,
money.
okay, so hang on. Let me try that again. So you
I'm a
went
raccoon.
1 gold
The
and
fuck do I need
okay,
money for?
all right. So you've got 1 gold and 50 silver. I do apologize. I thought you said 5. I'm sorry. So take back all of that. Etch a sketch it. So he kind of looks at you, pleasantly surprised, like, "Thank you, young master, mistress. Thank you." And it just scoops that money off the counter and just disappears somewhere in his robes. And pushes the wheel of brie across. Are you going to wrangle that into your pouch?
Good luck.
Will it even fit?
You got infinite storage capacity in that pouch as long as essentially what you've got is smaller than this guy, smaller than a 6-foot human, and that wheel of cheese is not broader across than like a big human shoulders, so it'll go in.
No, then it's going in my bag.
Oh, I kind of wanted to see
And
you like
Fockionis
stand
is
on
going to
top and
help me
roll
put
out.
it in my
I was
bag.
going to say, you can ask Fockionis, will you help Alia get the...
Oh my
I'm
Bring
surprised
it.
he didn't stop me with my money. Like, come on, he's the
I mean,
adult
gee,
in the
He's too busy
building.
shoving cheese in his gob. I
Mhm.
don't even... With his stats, I don't even know if he's noticed too much of that transaction happening. So, yep,
That's
between the
it.
two of you, you get that block of brie in. So now that you've now got this shopkeeper's focus is on you, Fockionis.
this cheese good. Do you have something maybe
Technically,
in
I
a
just
melted
paid
cheese?
for everything he ate, but anyway.
Do you have... What was the question?
Do you have something in a melted cheese?
Uh,
Could I be so bold as to suggest with some bread?
4 with bread.
want a toasty?
For 5 silver? Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the 45 silver change you need to give her, you can take it out of that.
That transaction is between me and the young
It hurts.
customer.
It hurts so
Bro.
much.
5 silver.
Bro.
You should have all stayed together, Rick.
The only solace is that the money's going to someone who we know for a fact hates Morton maybe as much as I do.
Yeah, you guys should be buddies.
So,
Make a fan club.
A fan club?
Sorry, a hate club.
A hate club, right. So
are you going to... Do you want to continue trying to persuade?
Well,
You can.
I mean,
Oh, and how much charisma are you cranking?
me?
Oh.
None. I'm a barbarian.
Oi, focus on what you're doing.
0. No.
You can... You've had the initial interaction. You've made an offer. He's given you what his counter offer is. You
Yeah.
There's certainly no bad blood. He's quite happy with you guys. He just received a fantastic tip from Alia.
That's what he's calling it, isn't it? Okay.
Money doesn't grow on cheese. You can.
Oh,
should haggle a bit.
okay. Right.
That's 2.
So Fockionis,
Look,
5
you
silver.
know, 5 silver. Yes, I would like to start with that. Maybe how many cheesy toasts do I get for my 5 silver?
He just lays out in front of you this pile of essentially what he just has it on hand. So whatever he's got, whether he has a stimulus storage capacity to you guys where it goes into stasis, or whether he has this just under the counter ready to go, he brings out this quite large cob loaf, essentially. So it is full of a melted pot of cheese, and there is... even in your large hands, it is larger than your 2 hands can hold. This cheese-filled cob for your 5 silver.
Yeah,
He just simply places it out and
I'm
points
good
to
with
it.
this. Look, I'm gonna not worry about this other thing. I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5 silver.
5 gold.
No.
Takes the 5 silver. Now, as you're starting to eat your cheese, guts your cob loaf, and maybe try and keep it away from Ali, or maybe you're sharing with her. I don't know. He's looking you up and down now that the business transaction is complete, and kind of trying to get a read on the two of you, and just hesitantly asks, "Are you crawlers? Haven't what's your party name?"
Cheese wisely.
Well, bro, I can't really tell you,
Agree.
but suffice to say, chaos is involved.
Hey, it seemed thinking about humor, right? And similar to what you saw Mort doing, he's accessing something that you can't see, and then brings his focus back to you and goes, "It appears your party did above average in your dungeon. Are you available for a small task while you're here?"
Not these two.
It will require your, because he has looked up your party. It will require your whole party.
A whole part.
Where on Google?
No, they're still using it in Explorer.
What would be this task?
Well, my cheese warehouse is beset with thieves or vermin. I don't know, but I'm losing product every night. Every day that passes, I'm losing around 10 gold of stock, and I would be happy
Sounds
to
like you got
compensate 50 gold to you, your party, and the
50
equivalent
gold.
in cheese. But that will diminish each night that passes. I can take you to the warehouse.
What does the assailant look like? 3'2", yellow, sun on his stomach.
Rick, you are
You're
nowhere
not
near
there.
us.
I know, but I have my suspect.
You're not there. So the
Yellow.
reason I say your whole party, it's a very large warehouse. The more, the better. I have tried on my own. I cannot. I suspect maybe foul play, but I can't catch the culprits or the whatever. It's an old warehouse, very very large, very very much filled. More cheese than's here. It's my cheese stockpile for the duration of this crawl. Can
I don't
Can
know,
you
Leo.
help?
Is it a good idea for us to take this on without talking to everybody else? What do you think?
We'll have a chat with
please,
everyone else first.
please
Is
meet
it a
me
good
back
idea?
here. Meet me before nightfall. Any day before the close of the dungeon. I will help. I will accept your help. But remember,
Sure.
the reward diminishes. I believe on average there is maybe another 5 days, my guess. So the reward will diminish each night.
Okay, we will converse.
All right. So, did you guys want to introduce yourself to this guy at any point?
Oh, we probably should have. Hey.
No, we already have. We're
Did
Team
we?
Chaos. That's all he needs to know.
That's look.
Okay. Well, with having received your team name, he introduces himself as C.H.A.O.S, the
C.H.A.O.S.
cheesemonger.
Good to meet you. We will return. Falciana says as he's shoving more cheesy toast in his mouth as he leaves the door.
All right. So Falcianus is leaving with essentially this giant cob loaf now half eroded with full of melted cheese. Didn't even ask what type, but it's
It's cheesy type.
Yeah, it's if you're interested, if you were curious about the purchasing, it was a mix of cheddar, brie, and Gouda melted together. He informed you of that in case you're interested in purchasing.
Above the question,
sorry.
the table question.
Yeah.
How much cheese-based research did you do for this?
Quite a bit, actually. I have pages and links to much information. If you had questions of him about cheese. I had to be prepped. I'm a little OCD.
That's a pretty cool cheese warehouse photo there.
I'm picturing a bit of a Skyrim cheese room theme.
It's a bit cheesy.
Bit cheesy. There we go. Can I get a count update there, Jay?
Jesus Christ. Okay,
I think
you
I'm
two...
starting to realize why it's been taking me so long to prep.
So you two have...
Your doing a gooder job there at keeping count.
You're exiting from the world of cheese and you're heading over. At this point, I'm not moving you. I know you're in transit. But the other three went straight to the mishmash merchant. So, Ivy, Rick, and Zach. Rick first, as the first one who departed, kind of charged off. Is the first one to come into the store, and then the other two of you enter after. And as each one of you comes through, there's a big welcoming open sign on the mishmash merchants underneath the door. Underneath the sign is a big door. There's like an old-fashioned bell that gets hit as you open the door, and it swings inward and it jingles and jangles, letting whoever's there know that there are now customers in the store. And so entering at the very entrance, it's a big, long, rectangular building. And it is filled floor to ceiling with shelves. And the first thing you notice is that there's two distinct sides to the building. One is really ordered and neat. And it's like you can tell that everything has a place and it's in its place. And then the other half, so as you're facing it, looking down the length of it, lengthways, it's almost like there's a clear delineation down the middle. And to the left-hand side is all of the order. And then the right-hand side, it's still ordered, but it's chaotic. Like it is piled up. There is, on the left-hand side, it is pristine. There is nothing in the walkways or the alleys between the shelves. On the right-hand side, like to navigate that is a maze of the shelves are full. There's piles of things in the walkways. The right-hand side is almost like a hoarder's hazard, except it's clean and it's got some sort of order that somebody knows what's going on there, and the other side is just pristine. So as you wander down, you can choose which side you wish to take. I'm curious which way your characters go. Who wanders down the neat side? Who wanders down the disordered side? And who maybe zigzags back and forth? Because you've got to get to the back of the shop where you can sort of distantly see that there seems to be someone at a counter back there.
Rick will walk down the left side, the organized side, and not paying attention, beeline of the counter.
Yep. So Rick's just making the most direct route where it's nice and clean and sterile, no surprises. Yep.
Chaos.
Ivy heads and just picks her way, curiously looking all around her down the very disorganized. But again, there is an order of a kind. It's just not quite as rigid as the left. And Zachary?
Sorry. Zach will sort of meander down the organized side, but not as fast as Rick did. Just sort of take everything in.
So as you get there in like a staggered approach, and Rick gets there first, and there's a counter. Interestingly, there's a whole range of things that you've seen. Like you don't know what almost any of it is. You don't have that kind of knowledge base yet built up, nor has it been injected into your skull. It's very interesting things. Like there's a mix of weapons and armor, and there's like unlabeled potions. And behind the counter is the only section that is actually covered in one of those opaque sheens that you're now becoming quite familiar with. And there is just over 100 crossbows behind that sheen. There is all different kinds. Some sort of have like a glow to them, or like you just see a little electric crackle going along the crossbow string. Others look quite plain. Some just have an aura of you can sense the danger or something a bit worrisome about them. But there is a serious number of crossbows behind that counter. And the counter itself is just like the rest of the store. Half of it is just neat as a pin, and has very little on top of it. Just a few little bits and pieces behind the ledge that you can see over the taller of you as a customer. The right hand half of it, there's no marking. It's just very clear that right hand half. It's covered in bits of paper, piles of things, like looks like some things that are being half repaired, bits of springs and sprockets, and it's not dirty, but it is chaotic. And the jingle and jangle has happened as you've come into the shop, and you see you can't see much initially. You're out of the back room, a door swings open, but the door's not full size. It's sort of like almost like Alia sized, a size you are familiar with. And over the counter, you can barely see the top of what looks like a bandana and like a tuft of black hair, sort of bobbing its way through that door towards the counter, and then it just steadily goes up, clearly stepping up onto a stool or a step ladder or some kind of device to get up a bit higher. And you see this impish face. You're familiar with goblins now, and you saw them as just this slavering, semi-intelligent, angry, unhappy, disgusting beings that were just attacking you on sight and essentially trying to end you. You can tell that this person is a goblin of some kind, but where they were that really just awful, scary, monstrous look, she's almost got fine elvish features and an impish kind of smile on her face and a twinkle of delight in her eyes, and like a sort of a mess of black hair sticking out around the bandana, and this set of goggles over her forehead. She, even in her shop, is carrying a crossbow, just nonchalantly in one hand, non-threatening, sort of notices it and puts it down on the clean, on the clean side of the counter, neatly. She's wearing a set of leather armor that has been tailored. I say she because it's very clear that this is a female goblin. It's a form-fitting but very functional set of armor. It's not ornate. Very high-quality leather armor, braces on either wrist and covering up a forearm. You're sort of a little bit attuned to it after walking past Mort and the Desperado Club, and you see that around her wrist is one of those Desperado Club tattoos that you're now noticing more and more. Now that's been brought to your attention that you have them. You can see that tattoo is around her right wrist, similar to how it is with Ivy. And this goblin with the hugest smile on her face, seeing all of you as she crests the counter, she goes, "Oh, it is so good to see some customers. Crawlers again. What can I... Oh, sorry. I am Mish of Mishmash Merchants. How can I help you?" And this is just full of exuberance and just clear delight at having you in her shop and having the opportunity to speak with you.
I'm about to be the worst human being. You just gave an amazing description of a character, but for the sake of time, above the table, can I just ask, what kind of stuff do they sell? Just above the table for the sake of not going through every
so I'll
item.
expedite. No, I essentially, all right, I'll expedite through a little bit of interaction there. So what Mish semi-breathlessly outlines to you when you give that question is that the Mishmash Merchants are run by her and a brother, Mash, her twin brother.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yep.
Sorry, I should have clarified. That's my bad. I meant just like from walking through as Rick and glancing to the side.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Do they have any cheese?
Like, do they sell, like, for the sake of like things I can buy? Is it just like basic adventuring gear, like player's handbook, like just for the sake of putting together a shopping list?
Yeah. So as you're walking through, essentially what you're seeing, to answer above the table, is you're looking at a whole slew of items, from weapons to armor to some with basic enchantments. There's potions, scrolls. There's a whole host of things in this shop. But I will say you get this information from her because you won't be able to tell it yourself. But you're essentially looking at, if say weapons, for instance, the very highest you'll be able to get is a weapon, a +1 weapon. Okay. So at the level you are and the point of the dungeon you've reached, and again, this is Mish explaining it to your characters, there is a range of stuff available, but the quality of what's available will increase as the dungeons progress, and the crawler numbers decrease, and the quality of what is available for sale will increase. So there is, if you have things that you are looking for, there is a very good chance you'll be able to get it in the Mishmash Merchants, because it's the only essentially shop in town at the moment. But the level of it is limited by the AI at this point.
I will let the others do their thing while I put together my official shopping list now that I know the information.
So while Rick's doing that, so Mish just enthusiastically, and it's just this tumble of words as she goes over. Her surname was Surge, Mish Surge. And she just it seems like either she's like this all the time, or just hasn't had the opportunity to talk to anyone for a long time, and just has a lot to get out, extremely enthusiastically and in a hurry. So she explains to you that that she handles all of the enchantment. Sorry, she handles all of the basic enchantments. She can do like a bit of extra damage for your weapons for a price. Essentially the +1. So if you've got an existing weapon, she can add that to it. But she can't do anything more complicated than that, even in the shop. And she can only do this stuff in the shop. It's part of the deal with being the merchant. Her brother Mash, who's not there at the moment, he handles all of the spells and the scrolls and the magic stuff, and she can do some of the basics, but he can do the more advanced things. And he handles all of the magic side. She handles the potions and the basics of the enchantments and the real nitty gritty fighter stuff and armor and repairs if things need a repair that they don't have that magical repair facility or improvement. That's her. She also goes through, as all of this is tumbling out, it becomes clear to you as you're picking through all of the things that she's saying that essentially, kind of like Mort, her and her brother are former crawlers, so they're not part of like the mass of Earth that has been turned into NPCs or AI controlled entities. And she's not giving you you can maybe determine more from her, but she just essentially is letting you know, like Mort did, and it appears to be commonplace that these kind of shop owners or people who've got a role very quickly let the crawlers know that they are former crawlers themselves who, in their instance, Mort and Mission Mash, that have entered into reluctantly, even with her enthusiasm, you can tell that reluctance, into an agreement with Borant to get out of the crawl. And her and her brother, their part of that agreement is running this Mishmash Merchants. So that's all you've got from her so far, and just that absolute gush of, oh, I'm so happy you're here, and what can I help you with? And look around. If you have something you don't know what it is, I can help. I can tell you what it is. I can do it instantly in the store. Just what do you need? And it's just almost like a Labrador of shop owners. She is just so excited to see you all.
Okay, Mish. You're at an 11 right now. I'm gonna need you to bring it down to at least a 7.
Don't listen to Rick.
It's okay.
Be
It's okay.
yourself.
It's okay. I get that a lot.
It's a new place for
When
all
you
of
just
us.
see just taking some deep
I have
breaths,
some
it's
questions?
clearly not the first time.
That's okay. First question. You said you can do enchantments and magic and armor. Can you enchant a non-set of armor to give a protective, like a normal set of clothes? Could you enchant them to give a magical protection benefit? I guess. Could you do that as a normal set of clothes?
Does the clothes, and you can see it's like
same as
do the
just
clothes currently have an armor class? Like, do they afford you?
They're just a normal set of clothes.
Unfortunately, at this state, no. I can only add to an existing armor. And she points at this stage, as like you guys have had that conversation, Fokionis and Alia are walking down the hallways, catching part of this, and points to the armor Fokionis has got on. That something like that. Very clear. It's very high quality. I could add to an armor.
I'll motion to just the normal clothes I'm wearing. You can't enchant this. Just what I'm wearing.
If it doesn't, I can add to an existing armor class. I can't add an armor class to something that doesn't have it. I'm sorry. The system prevents that.
Zach has a question as well. Have you seen?
Yes.
So you haven't seen many other crawlers come through here?
Some. There were some scary ones.
That's just
but no,
hockey owners, mate.
you're amongst the first. And she looks at where you're pointing, and go, oh no. I mean really scary. I'm talking skulls over their heads, scary. And she says that as if expecting you to know what that means.
How'd they get those?
Oh.
Magic.
You don't know? They're crawlers who kill other crawlers.
Whoa.
And they can choose to display that or to hide it. But there was one group and many skulls. Truly terrifying.
Sorry, you're not out. Are they allowed to do that? Is that?
Oh
Is that
yes,
all-
yes.
There's no penal system or anything to the other crawlers just accept that that's a fact as the people running the corporation.
They may or may
Okay.
not accept it. It was certainly like when Mash and I went into the crawl, we were only children. We were only 12 or 13 when we ended up in there. It was a big kerfuffle. Many things have changed since, but it was terrifying for us, and we never saw anybody stand up. The system wants the numbers to diminish. Dungeons take out crawlers. Crawlers take out crawlers. It doesn't care.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. I'm sorry to hear you were here so young.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Rick is while this is going on, I'm having this conversation while I'm walking between the aisles with like ink and a parchment and writing on a piece of paper everything that I want and the prices that I see for it, so Rick can do math.
I'm like, this.
yeah.
I'm not even. I have a
I'm-
massive list of stuff that I want to buy. You have no
Yep.
idea.
That might be easier to handle in Discord. I'm more
Yep.
than happy to, or at least if I get the list.
None of it's magic. It's all pretty basic, just
Yep.
average adventuring stuff. I
There,
think I'm
it
always
will.
done, and I'll give you the.
If it's non-magical, there's a very good chance that it's here. Yeah, very good chance.
How much is it?
At the moment, I'm up to
Ah.
63 gold pieces
Holy
based off
shit.
based off players' handbook prices.
Yep.
But they
Then I
could be
think you'll
higher or
be
lower.
pretty close to on it with that.
Okay. Very quickly before we
Yep.
move on, I will read you out my shopping list and just say yes or no if they have the items.
Oh my god! Can we?
No, this is more fun. Let's go. 10-foot pole. Shopping
Yes.
episode, baby. 10-foot pole. 10
Yeah.
sets of manacles.
Hang on. Let me see if they've got manacles because I do. Let me open up my store
Where-
tab. Give me one
We're
moment.
not taking prisoners.
10 sets of
We
manacles
don't
or an equivalent.
anywhere
Handcuffs.
to take.
Anything at all. Manacles equivalent.
Has the 10-foot pole there? So as you're right, Mish. No. If anyone sells me any, I can keep them aside for 10. Okay, and she's sort of looking at you a little bit.
It's like,
Because
Okay, Mish.
manacles
what do
really only
you
have
do
one
in the
purpose.
bedroom? Like, what?
Mish, can you
Um,
make them? You can do magic.
Ooh.
Could you make manacles?
If you
I'll pay extra.
10 sets. If you give me 1 second. Let me see how long.
If you can do me 10 sets of manacles, I will pay you 10 gold per set. Does that sound fair? That's 5 times
Oh,
asking.
That's very fair.
Deal.
10 sets. Depending on other, I have no current order, and you can see like
About
she's mumbling and
100 gold
talking
for
there.
handcuffs.
Can you give me 2 days? I can have those
do
ready
that.
for you. 2
10
days.
sets of manacles. I need
Yep.
3 bags of ball bearings. Each
Yes.
bag is 1,000, obviously. I
Yes.
need 10 sets of common clothes. Just whatever you've
Ooh,
got,
10.
basic, or whatever you've got. If you don't have 10, you know.
Do
just-
they
just
need to
some-
be any particular?
average
Like, are you
size.
looking for?
I'd like them to fit
like
someone
ball
up.
gowns or
Varying sizes.
just-
Some smaller, various human sizes. Maybe a couple extra large, sort of the size of like a Goliath would be good. Just whatever you've got. Whatever you've got.
and
just
not
use-
armored.
No, not armored. Just common clothes. Just gotta.
I
know,
can
My
I can
teammates
have
have a habit of
those.
shitting themselves, so I'd like to be prepared for that.
And how many sets?
I wink at her as I say that. 10 if possible to match
She
the
smiles
manacles.
and
But
blushes
if
a little
not,
bit.
if not, that's perfectly fine.
And after the little wink and a smile and the small blush, I can if I don't have them, I will have them in storage. I'm sure,
sounds
and you
lovely.
can see it ticking over. I'm sure I can have them. You may end up with some of her brother and her clothes for
That's
10
fine.
sets for the money that if you're offering
That's
anything
fine.
like the money you were for the manacles. Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be broke after this purchase.
Oh,
I've got a little bit left, but I'm probably gonna have to raise prices again. I would like 6 flasks, whether they're metal, whether they're sort of like what are they, like cured leather or whatever you've got, or however many you've got. Don't have to grab any particular amount. Just as long as they can hold basic liquids, wine, water,
yes.
ale, that sort of thing. So 6 of those.
So your clothes, they'll be 2 gold a piece. So 20 gold for the
2
10
gold
sets.
a piece.
You're talking like sets of the traveler's clothes, or are you talking mishmatches like a jacket
Just
here,
common
a shirt
clothes,
there?
Because travelers' clothes are 2 gold. I want common clothes which are 5 silver a
Oh.
set.
Well,
Holy
she's ticking
shit.
over the
Well,
working with what you're
yeah,
saying. So
this is your fault because
she
you
can
led with
easily
like
she can
10
easily
gold.
do
Yeah,
that.
it's just like
Easily the low quality. Yeah.
a thin pair of
Easy.
shoes, pants, and a shirt.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be. That's
Yeah.
just low
She'll
quality.
have that ready for the manacles. I misunderstood
Awesome.
the.
No,
but
that's okay.
yeah.
That's my bad. 3 healers kits, or even
I
just
really
one
regret
healer.
not doing a map for this shop now.
Even just one healer's kit would be good. But
Too
I
much
have
time
one
preparing the
one
cheese
healer's
I'll
kit
take
remaining.
the one.
The
I will take the
scary
one.
the scary team
That's okay. I
took the rest.
done.
One.
Two sort of like spools of silk, if you have it.
Silk.
Ooh.
Yeah, in the
What is he
player's handbook, rope silk, 50 feet, if 10 gold pieces each. I'd like 2 of those. Rick just found out that there are people who might be trying to actively murder us that aren't monsters. So Rick has plans.
So I have one silken rope.
I'll take it. Done. That's all I need to know.
Oh, okay.
If you've only got the one, I'll toss it in the bag. I'll throw the money down right now. 5 small bells, if you have them, or hand bells, but the smaller the better. As long as they can make a decent amount of noise, enough to sort of wake someone up, or get someone's attention at least, from a moderate distance. They don't have to be a great distance, 10, 15 feet will do. But 5 bells if possible, or again, how many you've got. If you can't do the full 5, that's okay.
Is this going to be the rest of the
No,
night?
I have.
I'm almost done.
I promise you that it won't.
It won't be.
I have a mix. I have 2 cowbells. I have
I'll take
2 and she
sold.
does this motion, and then 1 small.
Yep,
Ooh,
done,
I need some
sold.
tea.
Easy as that.
Okay.
Just throw them in the bag. Don't need details. As long as they're bells, Rick is happy.
Yep.
Rick is not going to cause this woman any more trouble than he needs to. I would also like 6 blankets and a shovel. The shovel's a last ditch item, just in case it doesn't do its job.
Wait, no,
She doesn't
that's
even
fine.
blanket those.
That's
The
fine,
manacles.
Jay. Don't think I didn't hear that. The shovel's a last ditch item. Seriously.
It is.
So, yes. Oh, many of those.
Alia likes to murder people. Rick's
So
gonna
for
have
those
to
of
bury
you
some people.
down the far side, and Mish heads to for most of these things the neat side and comes back. She's just piling them on, and then she had to go, and she can see her sort of turning her nose up a bit, and she's even neatening it up a little bit as she goes into the other side, digs around a bit, and comes out with a short shovel. It's around 4 feet in length, and puts all of that on the counter, and has already told you that she'll have the clothes and the manacles ready in 2 days' time.
Okay, I will hand over. Does she have the 10-foot pole?
Yes, yeah, she has a 10.
I will hand over to her right now 128 gold pieces, 5 silver, and 2 copper. I will also hand to her all 3 of the gems and tell her that if there is any way at all that she can get those to me in a day, that would be lovely, but there is absolutely no pressure. So I will hand over, the 100.
As you're piling that and onto the counter, the eyes are just going.
So I don't pile it onto
bigger.
the counter because that's all the money I have. I just give her my coin pouch. I just drop
So-
the whole coin pouch on the bench and say,
All right, so she
Whenever you
opens
can
that
get
up
them
to
to
look inside and is just doing like little movements like this because it's got such a heft to it, and the eyes are just getting bigger and bigger
so that's
and bigger, and just ties it off.
I have 2
Disappears
gold
it.
pieces left.
And
Sure.
sorry, may I ask? may I? And she's writing all this down.
Right.
May I ask whose name? Because she's introduced
If
herself.
you could just, do you know Mort?
Yes. Oh,
Deliver it to Mort, please. Deliver it to Mort and
took Mash and I in and cared for us after our
yep,
after our
I'm
parents.
sure he did. Yeah, that makes fucking sense.
Yes, I know Mort. Out of interest, the AI seems
He's just
to
gonna
every
betray.
AI messes with Mort.
Suddenly, I don't wanna spell
Last time he was a
fucking Mort
giant rat. Where did he land?
Oh, I haven't been paying that much attention, so it's stressful.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
back on. Sorry,
Little
just back
like-
on
little
topic.
yellow
What to
bear.
do.
What?
Should be
One
more than
second.
enough payment there. If you could just deliver it to Mort and let him know that it is a
Yes.
delivery for Rick, just so that if
will.
I'm not around, it just if that is can it all be facilitated, that'd be absolutely amazing. Do you need any other funds for the work?
Oh no,
At all.
you've been more than generous. That is more
Lovely.
than it is. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I will address it. I'll
Oh,
have it
wait,
bundled
I
up
forgot
to Mort
I
tomorrow.
have one further question,
No,
and that
not
is
good.
a magic item I would like to ask after. Do you have any
Yeah.
sort of item that could offer, again, sort of like I was asking with the clothing, any additional protection? Anything that has sort of like, a ring or a necklace, or just like any
or braces.
peripheral item that could offer protection to someone who doesn't wear armor? Because my friend here, and I point to Zachary, is very squishy, and as much as I hate him, I'd
Hey.
rather he not die. Am I wrong?
How are you?
Yes, you are.
I
Came in,
have,
my skin toughened. It's like dragon scales.
and you can see that.
Wait, do you actually have
This is-
dragon scales?
He said it's
bloodline,
like
I think.
dragon scales. He didn't say
It's
it
like
was
dragon scales. It's not dragon
You see Rick sort of like give like a little wince, like, oh, that's kind of gross, honestly. Anyway,
I'll have that ready for you. Yes, I have. Don't have any full plate armor, but there
I'll
is some
get back
half
to you
plate.
about that on a later date.
We have some leather. Again, as I said, it is only simple, with some maybe minor bonuses. But yes, I have many different types of armor, cloth to half plate available.
Is there a bottle? Nearby? Is there just like a bottle of ale or something?
One of the few things I don't stock, but if you speak with your
I don't
Mort,
ask her, I
if
just-
he's
I
your
just look
Bobka,
around.
which is very exciting, it is generally very well stocked in the safe rooms.
So
And
you don't
should be
stock
able to
any sort of alcohol? At
no,
all?
I could source some.
No, that's
Is
okay.
there something in
Thank you,
particular
Adam.
you are looking for?
Nope, that's fine. Have a lovely day and deliver that stuff tomorrow. Bye bye. I
Will
leave.
do.
I leave.
How-
I
Please,
leave.
please don't leave. Sorry if I can tell you that above the table. Please don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay, I stay.
I
I trip and just lay down because
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Overwhelmed with your shopping experience,
It's
you
lost in the
sit
messy
down
side.
for a little rest.
shopping
The,
breed.
the weight of all the things I murdered the previous day hit me, and I just stare at the ceiling in
You
disgust.
didn't murder
Would anyone
anything.
else? Does anyone else have anything that they would like
I've-
to ask
I-
about? Now, while
I-
you're thinking, sorry,
So-
Mish
so-
has noticed Alia, and unlike everybody else who has kind of been very perplexed, just has a small smile on her face. And as you're thinking and working on the next purchases after Rick, disappears behind the counter, and you just hear this scraping. And she comes around with essentially a normal sized aluminium bin, garbage bin, rubbish bin, and in there is just all kinds of offcuts, and there's bits of wood and metal and springs and sprockets, and it's all the workshop junk. And she just puts it in front of Alia, and I think that you will enjoy this. No charge. Take whatever you want. And she leaves you with that bin of offcuts to do with as you will.
Rifle through.
I'll come back to that depending on what you want to do with it. Zachary, you were.
Come on, we know
She's
she's
back
gonna
up.
take it all.
What?
Take
I
all.
missed that.
You got a massive bin full of offcuts for free.
Mish has just come
Free
around with
shit.
a small
Offcuts of
spile and
what?
parked in front of you a bin that's bigger than you, full of bits of timber and springs and all workshop offcuts and
Please.
debris. She very quickly
Oh,
identified
fuck
and clued
you
into who
are
you
lifting
are
this and dumping it in my bag.
and,
Oh,
and
okay.
has given All right, I'll come back to what you got out of that. So
We've
while
gotta move the
while
cheese
you're
out the
dealing
way.
with this, which is quite heavy,
Got
so
out
even
of it. I got the whole
Fokionis
damn thing in my bag.
is
What are you on about?
You
is
want the bean?
steadily
Okay.
just scooping out sections and dropping it into the bag because then by the time you get to the bottom, you find that there are just two large slabs of rectangular plate metal. For whatever reason, they've been discarded in the process, but two 50-pound slabs of iron. So you can add those to about another
yeah.
80 pounds of miscellaneous rubbish and
glad this
Yeah, you
debris.
can do weights.
All right, Zachary.
I pull out my butter knife and ask her how
22
much to
kilos.
make this stronger.
Ooh.
You were saying you could enchant things.
Yes. And so she takes it and turns it over in her hands, and I need to look up the enchantment. Shit, that's the wrong section of the OneNote. Leave that with me if there's anything else that you want.
Okay, a bow, like.
Oh, yeah, so
Alia has. I
she
can throw
has-
fire from my hands, but I don't trust it.
So she puts aside your dagger. She's still thinking about the cost of that enchantment, and lays out to you. She has just basically standard crossbows, short bows, long bows. Standard up to +1.
2 + 1.
Yeah.
Ooh, how much for +1?
A moment.
Shopping episode. How exhilarating.
I'm going to just nominate
Literally.
200
That's
gold
how it's
for
gone.
the 200 gold for the enchantment on the dagger. So to add to that to your dagger would be 200 gold.
Might be cheaper to just get a bigger dagger.
If you want a +1 dagger, that's 300. And the same for the crossbow. So there's a +1. Did you say crossbow? 300?
Longbow.
Okay, so the +1 longbow is the same. So the +1s are the same price.
All right, so
200 to add the
We
+1
don't-
to your existing dagger. 300 if you want to buy a dagger with +1.
okay, so we don't have enough to get a +1 weapon each, but we can invest in one or two of us getting +1 weapons.
Are you asking me or your party? Because
Party.
that's you got. Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure I have enough to get my own weapon.
+1 though.
Mm-hmm. I have 193 gold and
That's not
175 silver.
enough.
It isn't?
300.
Plus, she has the
Gold.
gems.
So 200 to
Oh,
do the
that's including
enchantment
the
on an
gems.
existing weapon. And that's if you've got an existing suit of armor that you want to get a +1 armor onto.
know,
Essentially,
it's not
adding that
easy.
on is 200 gold. A weapon that is a +1 weapon is 300 gold. Whether
So
that's
how much
dagger,
just for a
sword.
weapon by itself?
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
I
I'll
just
tell
want
you in a
a
second.
longer dagger, like a rapier or something.
Oh, that okay. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to let you know we've got about 2 minutes left of shopping.
All right.
The rapier will cost you 25
leave that
gold.
for the-
So you can get a
Alright.
standard rapier for 25 gold.
Yep, I get that.
Okay. So mark
Right,
up the 25 gold. She hands over the rapier. Puts back the crossbow goes, the opaque shield disappears briefly. She hangs the crossbow back up and it goes back up. She's very clearly a crossbow fan.
All right, well, sort out the rest later, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to talk above the table there because there's just one more point of order we need to take care of. So while that transaction finishes and Fokionis, you will have the opportunity if you have shopping and Ivy, it'll just need to happen in the new year. So everything
Didn't
goes
even know I made
still
my way over there.
around you. Yeah, you went with Fokionis. Around you, and a message comes. You haven't actually received this in the play for a little while. It's not since you entered it, and directly into your ear, you hear this voice: "Incoming admin, stand your ground." So the strange, weird. You see, Mish stands up a little bit and straighter, and is really paying close attention to the surroundings. And bamfing into existence a little bit differently to you guys, where you kind of sort of appear and you watch each other appear. There's a light that comes down from through the ceiling. It doesn't create a hole, it just appears there. And when that light clears, you see standing there what looks essentially to you, with a frame of reference, to like a 1960s astronaut spacesuit. But swimming around in the helmet of that spacesuit is a huge goldfish, with an oversized head, even though goldfishes already have an oversized head. And it's the head and the eyes are pressed up close against the glass, so giving it an even more distorted view of the world. And there's a name badge on the left-hand chest of the astronaut suit that is clearly filled with water for this fish to be in, that says ZEV, so ZEV, and underneath that says admin. When the beam is gone, before anything else happens, you see Zev give a it seems weird, but as the goldfish is moving itself up and down, the helmet moves up and down with them. It's very disconcerting, but it seems to be seamless. Nods slightly in the direction of Mish and just acknowledges, says Mish, and Mish slight nod back, Zev. And Zev then looks directly up and not addressing any of you, just seems to be speaking into space, and just goes, privacy now. And this, you've kind of gotten used to this feeling of being watched, and you know you're being recorded, but you haven't really been conscious of it until that feeling actually goes away. And that whatever has happened in this space, it seems very apparent to you that the oversight, the AI, and the whole dungeon that you're being enrolled in, or you've been forced into, the AI and all of that oversight and recording, it is now no longer in place. You intrinsically feel that. You don't need to be told it.
You can go in the bathroom now.
You can go into the bathroom anytime without being watched. Now, I am conscious of the time, so I will expedite this, and you guys will have a chance to have a little bit more role-play interaction in the new year. But Zev, with that privacy now in place...
Oh, how did I know that was going to show its face?
Hey, I'm just a courier that was provided to me.
Don't worry, the explanation he gave it instantly reminded me of the guy from Umbrella Academy.
That's pretty funny, but that's not Zev.
Sure?
Zev, you hadn't noticed it before, which is really strange, but you saw the spacesuit, you saw the fish, but underneath her left hand, and you notice it because she just very gently pats what is clearly a cat, but this cat it's big, it's oversized, it's got a little bit patches of hair missing, one eye is opaque and appears to be damaged beyond repair. It is a rough looking cat, but just so tender and gentle Zev is being with it, holds it up to her face, and if it could go nose to nose, she would be, even though this thing looks half demonic, and then puts it down on the ground where it just sits at her feet. Strangely, you hadn't noticed it before she actually drew attention and started patting it. And Zev, with your attention and without oversight, very quickly gives you a rundown, because as she explains to you, she only has limited time. But Zev is actually, while she's part of the admin of the Kuatin, she is also actively part of a group called the Anarchists, who are seeking to bring down the fall and end the entire program and the effect that it has across the multiverse. We will elaborate more on Zev and her story down the track. I'm sorry we don't have more time to go into it now, but she very quickly runs you through that essentially any member of the group, and she holds up a symbol, makes a symbol in the air that flashes to life for a moment and then disappears, which you recognize as the stylized Anarchy A, with the A in the circle, and it said that it was a symbol of those seeking to overturn the fall long before it even existed on Earth, because the fall has been going in the multiverse for such a long time, and each fall, more and more people are recruited to the cause, and more are lost to the cause to try and overturn it, and end what is currently happening, as people have been affected in greater or lesser extents. And she's over time insinuated herself as an agent of the anarchists into the fall, and into an admin position. She further explains that this really exuberant Mish that you've met is one of the agents of obviously the anarchists who is trusted. And her and her brother are actually the ones that had infiltrated the Dreaming and ensured that you faced Lawrence in the Dreaming as opposed to a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So had actually sought you out as a group where they identified some potential and potentially some personalities who might be recruited to the cause. She's saying all this really, really quickly, essentially saying to you that you need to, I hope, take this on trust. She hopes that you will be agents of change and be willing to attempt to overturn the entire event, the whole syndicate, not just the Borant Corporation, and finishes with that there's a unique opportunity this year because unbeknownst to the multiverse, Borant is actually in financial dire straits and they cheaped out on the AI that they purchased for the fall itself, which has left open some loopholes that haven't previously existed that the anarchists are desperately trying to exploit, including what they did in the Dreaming to smooth your entry and make your way easier into the dungeon itself. And she finishes with, look, I need to leave here with one of you. Every admin needs an assistant taken out of a group of crawlers. And looking over each of you, and at this point, and I do need to bring this bit in before we wrap up, she's looked at each of you, but she's avoided eye contact with Zach the entire time. And eventually she's, I have to address this. I know who you are. And looking at Zach, and I'm sorry you don't
Does she
get
want an
a chance
autograph?
to respond. And she goes, You're
the
Zordak
worst 10th
the
birthday
Great.
party act ever.
I've seen all of your shows on the pre-fall tunnels. You are amazing. You do magic without even having magic. I'm sorry, you are simply amazing, but I can't take you with me. But you are wonderful.
Are we frozen
and
in time
I
right now?
I can't wait to. Sorry, I need to move on. And so this previously very, structured, organized fish in a spacesuit, complete fangirl over Zachary, or as she referred to him, Zordak the Great. But then takes that breath and bubbles get exhaled out of her mouth, and she looks over at Rick and goes, I know you have no love for this. I know you have no reason to trust us. I'm asking you to take a leap of faith, and I think you are uniquely placed to cause utmost chaos and distract from what I'm actually doing as my assistant.
Zordak,
will you come with me and assist? It is something I can do without asking, but I would rather a willing participant than a indentured slave.
Can we speak and everything?
Yes. I'm just giving you that dump because I'm conscious of time.
Rick sort of just like rolls his eyes and just says, okay, yeah, I guess I'll go with you. Exposition. I mean, Ziv. Sorry. Just
Ziv.
got confused there for a second.
Yeah, Rick, I had to race through that. I'm sorry, I didn't expect Cheese World to go.
Rick with smoke coming out of his ears as his boomer brain tries to comprehend this information. He's forgotten half of it and wasn't listening to the other half after he heard the words Zordak the Great. He's just sort of nodding to her with a confused expression, just sort of like, okay, yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you, Rick. You will have the opportunity to rejoin your party as opportunity presents. It will depend on what we are doing, but I do have the ability to reinsert you and return you to my service. I will be leaving Grebo, and she again strokes the cat and goes, I've got to leave you here, Mr. Puss Puss. That was not intended for you all. She was trying to whisper that to a cat. So Grebo will be with you, but he will be a silent observer. Even the system won't know that he's there. I thought
you were doing magic there, Zach.
So Grebo will be staying with you with whatever those strange abilities are that left him unnoticed until Zev brought him to your attention. And without any further ado, Zev just, we must go. Time's up. The system can only be kept at bay for so long.
The raccoon gets to hug the Rick before he goes.
Oh God, rabies.
Okay, so while that's happening, okay. So Zordak, can you?
Yeah, that's the problem.
One simple trick. Can you? Do you have any earth magic before I go? So you've given her an opening while that Alia is going over to now dealing with that. So Alia is heading over to Rick, trying to give him a hug. Rick, How do you?
Oh, do the palm
react?
on the head. Palm on the head. Palm on
No,
the head.
let Rick do it.
Let Rick what? Sorry, my headset.
Alia is before you exit, has interrupted and gone over to give you a hug, and knowing she can't take both of you, Zev has pulled up and is now asking Zordak for a trick, an earth magic trick, and Alia is attempting to. The raccoon is attempting to give you a hug before you
Rick
leave.
will get down on one knee and hug the raccoon.
Aww.
I didn't expect that.
So Rick has that first sign of melting with this group that he has so little trust for, understandably, with everything that has occurred.
Into Alia's ears, Rick will whisper, "If you kill anyone, I will fucking end you."
Why do I feel like I should lick his face?
Do it.
I think you just did lick his face. I think that's in canon now.
That's great. That's awesome.
And with that, the hug complete. And finally, before departing, Zev has asked Zordak for an earth magic trick, and has also informed you guys. She showed you guys the anarchist symbol, and lets you know Mish, Mash, and Mort, all of the M's, are members of the anarchists, and anyone else will make themselves aware to you with that symbol, if they can be trusted. And now, Zordak, do you have a quick earth magic trick that you can do for this goldfish who is just staring at you? Those big googly eyes are even wider than they were before, if that's possible.
Can these people tell the future or something?
Can they? No.
She's after earth magic.
Palm a coin in my hand and then make it disappear, and then just bring it back.
Can you make a performance check for me?
Performance?
Come on, surely as a professional magician he can just do this. Surely he's
I've got
just
a
good
reason.
enough to do.
Normally would, but I got a reason.
Going to
ruin.
Oh fuck! Inspiration? No.
That's not how the magic spells goes.
I will give you with advantage because she's enraptured with you.
I just
she's a
seen the
huge
raccoon in the
fangirl.
cup.
All right, 16.
16. So
That is in fact what it
Zeb
looked
is
like.
she was already literally goggly-eyed at you, and they just almost like a sheen of joy coming across them as she just watches that coin flick around your hands and the palming and the disappearing, and just complete enrapturement and joy that was so out of place with how businesslike and like she had an agenda to get through in the very short time frame she knew she had. She knew what she had to get done. She knew they had information she had to impart. And then she saw that it was really you and that it wasn't some other Zachary Dusseldorf who just shared your name. So you have just made Zev, the Zordak the Great fangirl's day. And with that, seeing that Alia has disengaged after licking Rick's face, she just gently places one hand on his shoulder, and the two of you, Zev and Rick, disappear in another beam of light.
As my hand goes on her shoulder, I look at her and say, "Wait, sorry, what?" And then we
you're gone. And with that, the
Rick
rest
doesn't know what's going on.
Rick's
Rick has
gone
no
with
idea where he's
Zev.
going.
And we will revisit Rick and Zev at some point in the new year. But with that, the two of them disappear from sight. The rest of you are left with shopping.
Could he have just shoved all the stuff he bought into
Yeah, literally, Mort's just going to be standing around with 10 sets of random clothes, 10 iron medicals, just like,
yep.
What am I doing with this
They're
shit?
coming. They're coming tomorrow, marked for Rick. I'm sure that Mort will deal with that when Mish delivers them. But yes, the manacles and the clothes will be waiting whenever Rick rejoins us. And with that, we're going to leave the remainder of the party in the Mishmash Merchants. That's where we'll resume in the new year. And we will find out more about what happens with Zeb and Rick as Rick is able to rejoin us.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what exposition and me get up to. It's going to be great.
Oh my god.
It was exposition because it was 10 to 12.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
I was just looking at it going.
That would be a recount in you then, or
That you can watch the VOD.
I'm surprised you didn't do a wizard appears. You're coming with me. A wizard disappears and takes Rick. That's all we get.
No, it's
All
I figured if someone before I'd even remembered that you had even told me this, that if someone needed to come in and out, this was the backup. So you're always going to meet Zev, and there was always the opportunity for someone to depart with Zev.
And I have real life things to do, guys, because I'm an adult.
Excellent.
Real life.
No, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody on stream who's been watching. I will rate us out, and then obviously if we hang around and chat for a little bit, that'll all go on the YouTube. But we are back in the new year. The info will go up on socials and in Discord. But in around mid-January, we'll be back after we're all back at home. I think me being the main culprit, I don't get home until about the 9th of January. So keep an eye on socials.
Like just before that either.
Yeah, so we resume around the Monday, the 9th of January. But thank you everybody who hung out. And let's go say hello to someone else on Twitch, and then the rest will be on the YouTubes.
Do you have someone to raid out to?
No, I was about to look for someone. Do you have someone?
Yeah, I've got another D&D stream if you want. I'll pop it in the normal chat.
Yep, that'd be great.
I think they raided us previously a few weeks ago, actually.
There's been a few. I try and raid them back. That's what I was about to go looking for.
It's in the ninja chat room.
Oh, okay.
I'll pop the link. I don't know how much the link you need, so it's all there. I don't know how to raid out to people because I'm technically incompetent when it comes to Twitch. So I feel
you're a Rick when it comes to Twitch, is what you're saying.
pretty much. I can barely get my webcam working when I stream.
Has rated us before. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas and New Year, or whatever it is that you celebrate, and however it is you celebrate it. Enjoy it with you and yours, and we will see you. I might stream in between, but it won't be D&D until the new year. And thanks for hanging out. Peace out. Love you all, and catch the YouTubes for the follow-up.
I don't know what I'm waving. They'll put their camera. Bye.
I wasted so much money. Bye.
Wait, what happened?
All that money is gone.
Everything.
Because Rick's plan is Rick doesn't want to kill people, so he wants to be able to capture people. But there's probably going to be a fight, so he needs spare clothes to change them into. He needs healer's kit to make sure they're okay. He needs flasks to make sure he has spare water to look after them. He needs blankets in case they're cold. Okay, if he's going to convert people, if he's going to convert people to the way of chaos, he needs to look after them.
The way of chaos.
Sword act. You can't be saying that.
Level 4 was going to be a multi-class cleric, so we could create.
We don't have the resources to carry
self-defense.
10 million prisoners.
Okay, I would like to clarify,
through
Zachary,
a whole dungeon.
in case you didn't notice, I just bought the resources.
Yes,
and in 2 days we have everything we need to carry.
They break out of the manacles, run away, get their friends, and then what?
Well, here's my plan. More some sort of...
No, don't forget to add all that junk to your inventory.
I already did it.
Excellent.
Some sort of immortal murder bear.
Include 100 pounds of iron plates.
Murder bear.
Oh, that one I haven't added yet.
So 2 50-pound iron plates.
Alright, cool. I'll add that the next time we're on.
Will do.
Because my computer is only on Monday nights.
My Spyro modes, Twitch. Give me my Spyro modes.
Too easy. See ya. Thanks for the hang.
But yeah, I manacle them. You put them in fresh clothes. You manacle them. You give them some food. Give them a blanket. Give them some water. But we're not going to kill you. Make sure they're not going to die. And then you
kill
give
themselves, and all your clothes and manacles are gone.
And then I go give them to Mort and be like, "Hey, Mort, you're an immortal murder bear. You're a warden now because I feel like abuse of power is the only thing you're fucking good for."
We just tie them up in a safe room for the.
I don't trust Mort. No part of Rick trusts
eternity.
I picked up on that very strongly.
Yeah, it's you got 6 billion people outside are dead, and you're worried about.
In 10 episodes time, then Goblin Dupree
6 billion people are dead. We don't need to make it 6 billion and one.
It's no different.
Yes, there is. There's a whole extra.
They're trying to make it 6 billion and one. We're trying to stop.
The difference between 6 billion and 6 billion and one is that I haven't killed a single one of them. That's the difference. That hobgoblin killed himself. It doesn't count.
And it was also a construct of the AI, which I bring up because I know it's come up in previous conversations that
And Rick is still uncomfortable with
yeah.
that. It seemed to have sentience.
and the system has
Got a face, guys.
has made that clear. Yeah, no, it definitely had did have sentience. It certainly appeared to.
Oh, what did you
Yeah.
guys? What
Yeah, what is
subclasses
life?
did you guys go with for level 3? By the way, out of curiosity.
I picked mine
Oh,
at level 1,
berserk.
so I'm stuck with the player handbook subclasses.
Oh man. Oh, you went
Which really
berserk, okay.
sucks. But I'll live. It's not fair. No. Anyway,
No, that's all
What-
good. I was just curious.
now yeah, Dragon Blood Sorcerer.
Oh hell yeah, and berserker. That's awesome, guys. Fuck yeah. Shit.
But yeah, there'll be ample opportunities to what you're asking to be able to source those resources.
Yep, that's all good. I was just curious.
I'm not actually in love with it, but it actually fits the story better, so I'm going with it because it works better in the narrative.
Yeah.
I like the idea better of you guys just having it and doing it because it's less hassle. But
That's fair.
the story works better if you actually have to do some of these things and some of those exactly what you said as high levels get come up and rarer components and more
Yeah,
avenues
like-
are opened up.
Yeah, like if we fight other players, like yeah, we'll keep them alive, sure, but like goblins and stuff, I don't think it's worth it.
Finally, I get a bonus action where I have another hit. Yes.
Anyway, I'm gonna duck away, gentlemen.
All
Have
right,
fun.
thank you very much. And I will just keep in touch with you as you know when you're
When I'm free
going
and
to be
when I'm not.
available. Yeah.
Big thumbs up. Take care.
Oi.
Um,
There,
don't
have a
let
Christmas
Alia
break.
kill anyone,
Yeah.
and don't trust the Care Bear. He can't be trusted.
Well, just get Ivy on them.
Yeah, Ivy's got this.
Kill them.
I trust Ivy. She's
Yeah,
the.
you
I-
can't do non-lethal damage with children.
I trust Ivy and Fokiotis to be the moral compasses, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, that could be flawed.
It's okay, guys.
Wow,
I'm sure
Rick
the
trusts
Chaos.
Fokionis as a moral compass.
I'm sure the barbarian won't needlessly turn
Cut
to
to fo-
violence.
Cuts to Fokionis in the corner eating grilled cheese, still like.
Yeah. Yeah. He just
Whoop.
stocking, like, completely unfazed by stacking goblin bodies like cords of wood behind
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry
behind a crypt. You
I
know,
tried
while
to
having a
bury them. It
conversation.
wasn't real.
and-
That's not my fault.
You didn't
Okay.
try and bury them. Don't,
Well,
don't
in the
try and-
crypt, you know. I tried to
Oh,
put them
you
in the
did. Sorry,
crypt.
you did try and
The crypt was
lift the
fake.
crypt and drop them in.
Yeah.
You did. You didn't go back to the ones that you knew were open that the
Look, you know,
skeletons came out of.
it's a long way.
I will see you later, gentlemen.
So,
See,
Sounds great.
hopefully you
See you
can
next
play
time.
again. Jay.
Yeah, I should be able to get
I
a
enjoy
up here and
playing
there.
with you.
Bye all.
Sorry. All right.
Bye.
See you, mate. Have a good one. Oh,
so Spa, just in case
Yes.
you missed it, I'll give you a recap of everything.
I
everything.
can't wait to hear this.
So
Okay.
we started with this one.
Okay, hang on. Let me move the screen across so I can see it better. Wait.
Because the
Right.
comment in the Twitch chat was, Egg looks like he's fake. So is it a deep fake? And then you said we were transitioning to darkness, so I, of course, in my head was playing the stupid Bane.
I missed that one.
We had the stinky cheese room, which is like, apparently I fell down a rabbit hole looking at pictures of people making cheese rooms in Skyrim. It's a whole thing. I never knew. You know, then Egg
I
said
did not know that.
Egg said he had dragon skin.
So, I regret getting a webcam already.
Oh, Egg, come on, bro. I would have done it anyway. It would have just been a picture of an egg, you know. Then Lily started sending me pictures as well.
No wonder you guys are so distracted when we go.
What
Wait,
do you
what?
mean?
What? What
I
happened?
totally don't have stuff open doing exactly this in the background. Yeah, so Lily sent me that one, and then you kept saying Z, and in my head it kept going to like the bloody Pulp Fiction line with Zev.
I didn't even think of that. Because the
then,
character's out of the Dungeon Crawler Carl
bloody
series.
Mordak the bloody magnificent, like is doing
Zordak the Great, yep.
Zordak the Great doing his bloody his magic. And then Lily sent me another one.
I've seen that one before, but that's still good.
And that sums up today's bitches.
That's good.
Thanks for the recap.
I promise I concentrate. I really do.
Oh yeah, no, I can
Yeah,
I can
he
tell.
has pages of notes. You just can't see him because his webcam's not.
I've got pages of bitches.
I was say I'm not actually super confident of his note taking this campaign as I was in the
Look, I
previous one.
started to take notes, and Lily said she was taking notes, and her notes were amazing. So I got note envy, and then I just cracked it. And...
Has she continued taking those notes?
Oh, I don't know. That's okay. Like, possibly not. I can always watch the recap. It's fine.
True.
Yeah, just watch the recap on 10 times speed. You'll get everything.
Yeah.
There was so much that I had to get through, and I did not expect Cheese World to be as long as it was.
Cheese World, man. Come on.
You got
World
to cheese
of
the day.
cheese. Oh dear, good times.
Yeah.
But you did pick up. Oh god, the chaos. You did pick up a quest from C.H.A.O.S.
Well, we've got
You've
to
got
check
got
with the
a
rest of the group, but I feel like we're
well
all gonna go
potentially.
for it, 'cause,
Sorry,
you know,
picked up a
Potential.
a
it's
quest
a lot
while
of
you
gold.
wait.
Plus,
Rats in the
we get
basement.
cheese in a room, so you know.
Yeah, the cheesemonger needs his stock saved. Race has got Mort's Brie,
So can we
that she got a
start?
little bit of extra gold from.
Can we read any more of that book now? Or
No, God no. Stay away from the book. I've got one that you can read in the interim. That is really good. I think. Have you looked in the Discord at the other ones in that genre?
yeah, I have.
Have you been reading them?
No, because I'm saving myself for the perfect one.
It's not perfect. The Awaken Online is still the flagship of all of them.
All right.
I think I'd probably put Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't know what my ranking is in Discord, but after the couple other series I've now been read, I'd probably put it third. Is that what it is in Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, I stand by that because the Jason Asano one, I forget the name of the series, it's number 2, is really good. And that's by an Australian guy. A little bit slow to begin with, but it's worth pushing through the initial slow period where you're trying to figure out what's happening. But it all coalesces really well. It's actually deliberate on the author's part, which I just thought it was annoying initially, and then realized that, once it hits a certain point, you go, that was actually deliberate and very clever. So highly recommend those.
All right. Have a look.
Excellent.
Anyway, have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too.
Hope you get lots of presents.
You too, mate.